but he's totally funny.
I don't even care if he ever makes a sound, just as long as when you see me he's around and he's bound to me. He's like my glass slipper, he fits me so good and he's such a good tipper. And you could sing along if you like, for the only known man who looks tough in tights. I like him for his smile, I like him for his hair, I like him for his style, I like him cause he's so debonair. He's my trophy boy, my trophy boy, my trophy boy. I want him for myself, I wanna lock him down. I want that ring on my finger like I want that crown.
He's my trophy boy,
My trophy boy, my trophy boy. And it's not just about his looks, he's also got a sensitive side.
he has the soul of a poet if you give it the time.
And he's a perfect gentleman, class and etiquette.
Oh, who am I kidding? He just got such excellent abs.
You can't compete with those fellas. I make the whole kingdom jealous. I just forget my manners. Hello, I'm Cinderella and I need a wedding
I like him
planner.
for his smile, I like him for his hair, I like him for his style, I like him cause he's so debonair. He's my trophy boy, my trophy boy, my trophy boy. I want him for myself, I wanna lock him down. I want that ring on my finger like I want that crown. He's my trophy boy, my trophy boy, my trophy boy. Oh, oh, oh my gosh, oh my fairy godmother, won't you call this boy's mama and tell her that I love her? I like him for his smile, I like him for his hair, I like him for his style, I like him cause he's so debonair. He's my trophy boy, my trophy boy, my trophy boy. I want him for myself, I wanna lock him down. I want that ring on my finger like I want that crown. He's my trophy boy, my trophy boy, my trophy boy. My little trophy boy, yeah.
And I was sinking underwater, drowning in a memory of you. And now it's time for me to recover, coming to the surface for a better view. Ooh, yeah. In the good times and the bad times, you need a high to feel alive. And the headlines, they criticize it. No love for the cynics. See your 15 minutes. I got no time for it. I'm back again. I'm back again. I'm back again. I'm back again. us. It's all so debonair. The war won't stop as long as we keep dropping bombs. Dropping bombs. The war won't stop as long as we keep dropping bombs. Dropping bombs. Dropping bombs. Dropping bombs. Start communicating. 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 It's all about the money. Stop, here you go again. Letting yourself to feel alive. Go on and just pretend everything will be alright. And when you find yourself on a one-way track and there's no way back, I'll leave a light on that'll lead you home so you're not alone. Whatever it takes, whatever the fight, don't ever let it break you down. Whatever the stakes, whatever the price, you gotta turn it all around. Whatever, whatever the fight, whatever the price, whatever the fight, whatever. Left to your own device, comfortably numb in your own pain. Right now you're paralyzed. You're like a moth drawn to the flame. And when you find yourself on a one-way track and there's no way back, I'll leave a light on that'll lead you home so you're not alone. Whatever it takes, whatever the fight, don't ever let it break you down. Whatever the stakes, whatever the price, you gotta turn it all around. Whatever.
The time is now.
자신의 시대를 만들기 위한
Welcome to
멈추지
the
않는 승부
ASL. We're in Group C right now,
24강
and we're going to get it right started with an interview.
I love interviews, Artosis.
I know, me too, Tasteless.
오늘의 C조 경기를 앞두고 있는 네
Definitely
명의
not
선수
tasteless.
나와
Budget
계십니다.
tasteless is here,
지금
of
바로
course.
여러분께
And
소개해드립니다.
you know who else
우재욱
loves
선수,
interviews? That
박성균
is our
선수, 이예은 선수,
wonderful
진영원 선수 나와
host
계십니다.
and
안녕하세요.
all of our players, of course. So we're going to meet our four players today. Mine, Sacsri, Best, and Movie.
네.
So let's talk to Mine first
이
and see what he
박성균
has to
선수는
say.
ASL에서 두 번 연속 8강에 진출하면서
네.
이 이영호 선수와 같이 이 테란의 자존심과
Mine,
같은 역할을
he made it to the
하셨어요.
ASL.
이번 시즌도 약간의 사명감을 갖고
two
좀 임하실
times.
것 같은데
I think she
어떠신가요?
means the round of 8 probably.
사실 뭐
You saved Terran with Flash. What do you think about Terran this
없었고요. 근데
season?
뭐 어쩌다 보니까 이렇게 2명 남게 된 건데
I never have that kind of pride.
요즘에 어쨌든
It just
뭐
happened.
게임이 잘 되다 안 되다 오락가락해서
I just focus on my games, and that's what happened.
개인적으로는 좀 그게 좀 스트레스라 오늘은 꼭
My games have a lot of
이겼으면
ups and downs.
지금
It makes me really
일단
stressed out.
16강에 연보성
I hope
선수가
that I can have a good result today.
선수로 올라와 있는 상황인데 또 좀 자극을 받지 않으셨나요?
C made it to the round of 16 so far as a Terran. Did that motivate you?
저 어차피 제 게임만 잘하면 된다고
No,
생각해서
I didn't get motivation from his
다른 건
games.
생각 안 하고 있어요. 네.
네,
I just focus on my own games and concentrate on myself. It's all up to me.
처음으로 진출하셨습니다. 아 진짜 오랜만에 방송 경기라
Sacsri,
어제 좀
it's your
잠도
first
설치셨을
ASL.
것 같은데 컨디션은 어떠세요?
어제 너무 긴장을 많이 해가지고 몸이 안 좋더라고요. 그래서 빨리 잤는데
Since you haven't played in the broadcasted matches, can you
자다가
do well today?
깨가지고 오늘
Says,
거의 아침에
I didn't feel too good last night.
그래가지고
I went to sleep early.
컨디션이 좀 안 좋긴 한데
It didn't go too well though.
준비를 잘 해서
I woke up
될
a
것 같아요.
lot last night.
네. 오늘
I don't have very
24강
good
첫 경기지만
condition today.
16강, 8강
But I
올라가면
did practice really
본인만의
hard.
좀 긴장을 풀 수 있는 방법을 좀
Hopefully I can,
연구를 하셔야
show
할
some
것
good games.
같아요. 그리고 좀 갖고 있는 방법 같은 건 없으세요?
제가
I guess you should get rid of your
현역 때도
nervousness if you want to
긴장을
play
많이
your
해서
games well.
잘 못했는데
네.
지금 이제 찾아봐야 될 것 같아요.
네, 이 에스크 ASL이 좀 이현윤 선수의 긴장을 좀 풀어줄 수 있는 시간이
During my pro
됐으면
gamer days,
좋겠네요.
I was a player
자,
got very
도재욱
nervous.
선수도 이 시즌 2와 시즌 3 때는 4강,
So I don't really have any
8강으로
tips on
결과가
how
굉장히
to fix
좋았는데
this problem.
최근 ASL에서는 좀 많이 아쉬워요.
네, 일단
돌이켜보면 좀 어떤
best.
점이 아쉬우셨나요?
You've been doing really well in season 1 and 3.
14강, 16강 둘 다
After
조별리그
that, though, not as well.
탈락하게 됐는데
What's the most disappointing part of this?
굳이 그때 이제 테란전과 토스전을 져서 탈락을 했거든요. 근데 이제 제가 자신
Yeah,
있었던
Elimination round of
패배를
24.
해서 탈락했기 때문에 좀 자신보다는 좀 더 꼼꼼하게 준비하면은
Since I
똑같이
played against some races I don't
오늘은 좀
prefer to play
꼼꼼하게 준비를
against.
하셨나요?
네, 오늘은 좀 괜찮다 싶을
It's
정도
up to my preparation.
아, 네, 알겠습니다. 네, 진영아 선수도 오랜만에 이렇게
I have
경기장에서
to
뵙네요.
focus and pay
안녕하세요.
attention to all
네, 지난
races.
시즌 때는 경기만큼이나
And
좀
he says, I
방송을
feel pretty good
재밌게
with my
해야
preparation.
한다는 압박감을
Alright,
많이
moving.
받으셨던 것 같아요. 요즘 방송 컨디션은 어떠세요?
You have a lot of pressure to entertain your fans on your channel.
네, 싶기도 하고 모르겠어요, 아직. 네. 경기 집중하려고.
How are you doing with your
페간스련은
stream
좀 방송이
nowadays?
재밌게 잘 풀렸나요? 한동안?
He says, I think I should turn off my stream and focus on the
할 수가
tournament.
있는 부분이 아니라서.
Now it's time.
오늘은
I love that
게임하러
attitude in him.
왔으니까 일단 게임
네.
잘 하려고요.
네, 재미보다는 오늘 좀 결과를 챙겨가겠다는
Says,
진영아
since I
선수의
came here to
얘기까지
play games,
들어봤고요. 자, 이제 본격적으로 팬분들의 질문을
I'm
좀
only gonna
선수들에게
focus on the
전해드리도록
matches.
하겠습니다. 먼저 박성균 선수 마이크를 좀
Okay,
받아주실까요?
time to check from what some of the fans are
네,
thinking.
이런 질문이 올라왔어요. 이번 ASL에서 가장 까다롭다고 생각하는 선수. 근데 아직까지는 좀 이번 시즌이 초반이기 때문에 고르기가 좀 다소 어려울 것 같아서 제가 오늘 같은 조에
So
있는
first to
선수
mind,
중 가장 까다로운 선수는 어떤
Who do you think is most
선수일까
difficult opponent?
들어보고 싶네요.
It's a very early stage of ASL.
재욱이 형이죠. 테란전 잘하고.
So who would you pick from within your group?
어려워서
Said, if I have to pick within my group, it's best.
까다로운 것 같아요.
아 그래서 그렇게 개인
He's the most
방송에서
difficult
도재욱
opponent for
선수를
me to deal
만나면
with.
많이 져서
네.
도재욱
Don't forget, he
주거를
did
많이
get 3-0'd by
외쳤다고 또 팬분이
best in
이렇게
KSL.
알려주셨어요.
I remember that. He does too.
아니고 재욱이 형한테 이제 방송에서 개인 방송에서 지고
네.
Whenever you
우리
face best on
팀이
your
게임을
stream,
하니까
you lost a lot of
저는
games.
열심히 응원한 거죠.
You said, oh, go to hell to
지라고
best.
네.
지라고는 좀 너무 세게 말했나 봐요.
Says no.
죽으라고 좀 많이
아유 그래도 그렇죠.
나간 것
어떻게
같은데, 예.
죽으라고 할 수
I
있는
didn't just say go to hell.
도재욱 선수 들으셨어요?
게임에서 죽으라고요. 게임에서 죽으라는 얘기니까.
아 게임에서
네.
죽으라고 그 말
I said-
들으셨어요 도재욱 선수?
I meant lose the
어떻게
game.
들으셨어요 그 말 들었을 때?
아니, 저는 이제 그때 팀 배틀 방식이어가지고 이제 제가 이겨서 다음
Did you hear what he said?
게임 끝날 때마다 균피셜, 도지욱 죽어 이거 날라오는 거
You know,
시청자들한테
the game we did was actually team
좀 많이
format.
말했나 보구나 이 생각을 했던 게
네.
그걸로 도배가 된 적이 있어요. 도지욱
진짜요?
죽으라고. 네, 그래서
So I was watching the
그래서
chatting.
뭐 이해합니다. 네, 죽진 않았으니까 아직.
죽진
네.
않았으니까. 네 알겠습니다. 자 이혜원
All the
선수께
fans were
마이크를
telling
좀
me that after he lost the
전달해
games, he was
주시죠.
saying some
이
words.
다른 선수들 같은 경우에는 지금 같은
So all my
조에 있는
chat
다른
was
선수들
saying
같은
those
경우에는
dirty
현역
words.
때다
What a
우승에
bad
준우승
influence this
경험이
mind kid is,
있는
huh?
Chatting
These
on the
angry
internet
Terran
is
players.
toxic. Tell me more.
다가오진 않았는지도 팬분들이 질문을 해주셨어요.
사실 지금 같은 조에 있는 선수들이 다 현역 때 다들
Sacsri, do you
한가닥
feel
했던
pressure facing these
선수들이라
guys who all had good results in their pro gamer days?
되게 부담이 많이 되긴
said, yeah.
하는데 그래도
They all placed really well as pros.
현역이랑 지금
Puts a lot of pressure on me
다르죠.
as
네.
someone who didn't.
저도 열심히 준비 잘
But
해가지고
ASL now, it's really different from when we were all pro
비벼볼 수
gamers.
있을 것 같아요.
그럼 가장 좀 해볼
Since I
만한
prepared
선수
really well,
오늘 도재욱
I actually
선수,
think I have a pretty
박성균
good
선수,
chance.
진영아 선수 나와 계신데
So if you have to pick one player
이혜원 선수의 표현대로 비벼볼 만한 선수 어떤 선수
that's
있을까요?
beatable,
어,
who do you pick? That's a
What a
hard
question.
게임을 해봤는데 방송하면서
Well,
영화 형이
I play against them
방송에
all while
집중할 때마다
streaming.
좀 제가 할 만한 것 같더라고요.
네.
네.
I think movie.
요즘 바쁘시더라고요. 진영화 선수 요가도 하시고 운동도
Yeah, I think he's been focusing more on his stream
굉장히
than playing games.
바쁘시더라고요. 근데 이해준 선수는 또 제가
She says,
찾아보니까
yeah.
연보성 선수 닮았다는
Movie's
얘기도
been doing
굉장히
yoga and
팬분들이
exercise.
많이
He seems pretty busy.
하셨어요.
네, 이게 그러니까 얼굴은
Some fans
연보성
say, by the way, that you look
닮았다고
like C. You're
이름은
similar to
또
him
그
in appearance. Says, yeah, I've heard that too.
철구 씨 닮았다고.
네, BJ 철구님
똑같다고
말씀하시는 거죠.
계속
네.
그런 걸로 자꾸
Yeah, I've heard
뭐라고
fans say that my
하셔가지고
face
이제
resembles
이번에
his.
제가 잘
Also, my
해가지고 이제
name
이혜훈이라는 이름을 좀
is similar to
알려야
C's.
될 것 같아요.
또 그래 닮았다는 표현보다는 네,
사실
오늘 네.
실물로 보면은 안
Yeah, I guess I
닮았거든요.
have to show pretty
조금
impressive games today,
닮으셨어요. 네.
so that everyone remembers my name, though.
제가 얼마 전에 연보성 선수를 봤는데 조금 닮으신 게 맞는 것 같긴 해요.
아, 그러니까 이미지는 좀 닮은 것 같긴
He said,
한데
I don't really look
막상
like C,
이렇게
and then
투샷을 같이
she said, you actually really do look like him. He says, I don't think so.
16강에 올라와서 연보성 선수와 투샷이 잡힐 수도 있겠네요. 그날 제가 또 한번 유심히 지켜보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 계속해서 도재욱 선수께도 좀
You know, if we
질문을
sit side by side,
전해드릴게요.
I don't think we look very
요즘
similar.
이미지가 굉장히 많으신가 봐요. 여자를 싫어하는 이미지 그리고 도사노바 이미지
Best
어떤 게 더
recently-
좋은지 질문을 주셨거든요.
Your
근데
image
저는
is
둘 다 너무
of a
극과
Casanova.
극이어가지고
네.
둘 다 싫긴 한데 그래도 뭐 요즘에는 좀 나은 것 같아요. 왜냐면 이제
What type of women do
여자를
you like?
싫어하는
No,
이미지
he says he
있잖아요.
looks
그러니까
effeminate
욕을
sometimes.
진짜
Oh.
이유 없이 먹었어요. 그냥 가만히 있다가. 근데 요즘에는 그런 일은 없어서
Oh,
기분이 난
yeah, that he
그러면 뭐 본인이
he
선호하는
looks like he doesn't
이미지보다는
like
본인의 조금 더 가깝다는
women. So
이미지는
he gets a
어떤
lot of
이미지인가요?
comments about this
저는
without any reason.
딱 중간이에요. 저는 근데 여자를
Oh, they call him
그냥
Dosanova.
싫어하지
Oh,
않아요.
Dosanova.
그
They
여자가
always make
어떤 가치관을
him
갖고 있냐.
like jokes with his
그런 걸
name.
따라가기
Yeah, because his
때문에.
name is Dojaewook.
그래서
Yeah.
중간쯤인 보는 것 같아요. 네.
What about personality? He
그렇군요.
says, I think I'm kind of in the middle.
가치관을 알기까지 또 좀 많은 시간을 같이 보내야 될 텐데 그래서
he
요즘
says
좀
he's
여자 BJ분들과 좀
ambivalent and
다양한 시간을 많이
mostly just
보내시나
cares
봐요.
about people's
가치관을
personality.
알아가기 위한 시간이죠?
예, 이게 알아봐야죠. 예, 예.
네. 네, 난감해
They're saying he
하시니까
spends lots of
경기 관련
times with
질문들을 좀
girl
드려볼게요.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's a little bit of a confusing translation.
It stands for broadcast jockey, by the way.
전해주셨습니다.
사실 원래 성균이랑은 좀 전적은
So is this why you're very
비슷했었는데
strong
이제
against blind?
최근에 성균이도 좀 바쁘다 보니까 좀
그러니까 두 분이
네.
너무 바쁘신 것 같아요. 경기
I think their
외적으로.
match history is pretty similar.
요즘에 이제 좀 메타가 살짝 바뀌었거든요. 근데 이제 그 메타를
You guys seem pretty busy outside of the game,
좀
though.
많이 하다 보니까 조금 더 익숙해져서 그런 것 같아요.
그럼 오늘 경기도 첫 경기가 푸푸전인데
I guess this means mine is really
그 부분에
busy.
대해서
I played more
부담이
games.
되시거나 그러진 않나요?
저는 이제
I'm more familiar with the game and have more
좀
concepts,
걱정되는 게
I guess.
영화가 워낙
He says he plays more than mine, so he's more confident.
Oh, confident.
준비한 거 잘하면 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
자, 그럼 마지막으로 진영화 선수께도 좀 팬분들의 질문을 전해드리겠습니다. 진영화
Does he
선수가
feel some pressure to
생각하는
play
이
against
시조의
But he prepared well,
경기력을
so he
떠난
should be okay.
재미 서열은 어떤지 궁금해하셨어요.
So movie.
오늘 인터뷰하는 거 보니까
네.
예훈이는 제끼인 것 같고 요즘에 저도 뭐 폼이 많이 떨어져서 뭐 순위를
If you
매기는 것
lined up
자체가
these
좀
four
약간
players by entertainment value,
위치가 그럴 정도는 아닌 것 같고
네. 근데 제
What do you
기준에는 진영화 선수가 정말 재밌거든요.
he says, at least I'm better than Sacsri.
네. 별로 위안이 안 되시는 것 같으니까.
Shots fired.
같아요.
네. 다음 질문 드려볼게요. 요즘 요가도 배우시고 다이어트를 굉장히
Said,
열심히
movie, I
하신다고
think personally you're the
들었어요.
most
잘 되고
interesting.
계신가요?
Says, that doesn't seem to
개인적으로는
be very true.
또 외관상으로 봤을 때도 좀 효과가 나오는 것 같아서 좀 열심히 해볼 생각이 있어요.
I heard that you're doing
도재욱
yoga. Tell me
선수도
about
오늘
that.
대기실에서 진영화 선수를 보자마자 살 정말 많이 빠졌다고 얘기를 하더라고요.
Says, yeah.
목표와는 좀
I think it makes my life
목표치가
healthier.
있으세요?
So I think I'll continually
좀
do yoga
옛날
going forward.
몸무게까지는 아니더라도 좀 비슷하게라도 좀
You have any
가려고,
goals?
예, 아무리 남은 그 프로그램 기간 동안 좀 열심히 하고 게임도 열심히 하고
You have any goals on like how long you're going to do yoga?
네.
할
Said,
생각이
well, I've lost a lot of weight recently,
다이어트도
and
경기도
I
오늘
want to pursue a
모든
healthy
좋은
life, so I want to
결과로
do
이어지길
yoga,
바라겠습니다.
play
고맙습니다.
games. I'm not really thinking about it
자,
too
오늘
much.
경기를 앞두고 있는 4명의 선수들과
Alright, that
인터뷰
was-
나눠봤습니다. 선수들 모두 고맙습니다.
I'm so happy that we learned all about each of their personal lives.
Yeah.
These fans asking questions are
자,
just some of the
ASL
most, I guess,
24간
telling
시조
kind of
경기
looks into what these guys' streams are.
끝까지
I
저와
guess
함께
so.
경기
If
If you guys
즐겨주시기
don't watch the
바랍니다.
players'
Okay,
streams,
저는
go
승자는
try it out.
끝난 후
They're pretty
시조의
fun. on. What's your goal with the yoga?
Like,
well, I want to be able to put on my socks without help.
That's one way to do it, Artosis. I in general just go for the use of my hands to make that happen. But I'm glad we got to look into a little bit of their lives, and pretty soon we're going to look into how good they are at Brood War. And you know, I've heard some dissenting opinions from who is most likely to advance, but I'm actually really excited to watch specifically, you know, Best in Mind, because they did recently play in KSL. Yeah. That looked a little bit one-sided. I think that was where Best had like a 7-kill probe, and he won the game with 2 Zealots and a probe in like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, well, that's just maybe not supposed to happen. So hopefully things look better today. Yeah, there were some rough games in there for sure. I don't think that'll necessarily be what happens here tonight. We have a different map pool. This is all best of 1 tonight. Our first match is actually going to be a TVZ anyways. That's right. So we don't even know if Best in Mind will end up fighting. Now, if you just look at it on paper, you should say that Mind and Best will advance, but I think it's a lot more complicated than that. Right. Especially Best of 1. It just changes everything. Yeah, like Best of 1, you can really super prep, like 1 build on 1 map, and just come in more prepared and just bowl your opponent over. Like, we kind of saw this. Like, I would say Jaedong is certainly a better player than C, but the one game that they played, right, on Autobahn, he just had this strategy ready, and C was unprepared for it and just kind of died, where that could have been a close match. It really wasn't, right? So we can see different layers of that, like different levels, I guess, where maybe there's like a sick TVP build ready on Autobahn for Mind. Right. And when I think the first game of Tuesday's matches was just an 8 racks in the middle or BBS or something like that. I think it was a BBS. I'm like, okay, well, sometimes you don't really have a complicated strategy. You just want to get out there and get the game over with. And that's kind of what happened on Group B. Now, this is the way that our groups have looked so far. Jaedong and C advancing out of Group A. Group B was Shine and Shuttle, with unfortunately Ware and our newcomer Biel dropping out. But today, Mind, Sacsri, Best, and Movie, and anything could happen. You know, the other Brood War League out here is best of 5s. This is best of 1s. I feel like maybe one league will have best of 3s, and we'll just all kind of be happy at equilibrium in between. But for best of 1s, anything can happen. And look at our future upcoming groups. Just so much talent we haven't even seen yet here in the round of 24. We have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. A very busy week next week going through all this. That's right. We heard you liked ASL in your week, so we put more of it. I don't know, that sounded better in my head. But yeah, there is a match on Monday, which is not usually there, so you'll have to stay up late one more night this week. Yeah, well, you definitely should want to do this. This is just a fantastic tournament. I've had a lot of fun already in the first 2 groups. I think this one is a really good one that we're going into, and I'm also really looking forward to D and E. For me, those 3 groups are just insane. Oh, absolutely, and we should see the level of play really improve. And so when you look at this graph, this is a little bit disingenuous because ASL Season 1 didn't have a round of 24. It just started with a round of 16. So it's a little bit skewed there, but the big thing to notice is that Best is actually just doing super well lately, and Mind is back up, and of course we've seen him perform very well in this tournament in previous seasons. Yeah, he was one of the only Terrans that did all right last season. Yeah. You know, some of this was on the back of some funny stuff going on. Like, that's true. Flash made a super easy group that he got out of. He also had a TBT against Rush in his round of 24 group. So he did well, and he performed, and he got further than basically every other Terran. But yeah, I mean, that's all well and good, but it wasn't like a heroic journey, you know what I mean? That's very true. It's not like he really super surprised us at beating players that we wouldn't have expected him to beat. Not that it was easy by any means. And I think he did underperform slightly in KSL. Right. I think the 0-3 against Best was a little bit surprising, especially some of the ways that Best was playing. Now, Best is one of the absolute best Protoss players. Like, there's all sorts of debate over who's better at what matchups, who's the best Protoss is. Most people are saying Rain. I can't really disagree, but Best is pretty monstrous. I mean, even when you look at Spawn Bangs, Best is the 2nd best Protoss player based on... is it next to Rain? Yeah, next to Rain. So Rain is number 2 overall, and Best is the 2nd best. Now, Mind is still, I think, number 10 on you know, sponsored matches results, but he's the 5th best Terran there because there's just so many Terran players in the top 10 when it comes to that. So he's still very good. He's number 10, and Best, I believe, is number 11 right below him. So they're very close. Now, Sacsri is number 33, I believe. So he's been struggling a little bit, and specifically in this matchup, you know, we don't know what he looks like really online because he hasn't played a whole lot of those matches. And we've never seen him before in ASL or offline. The last time I watched this guy play, it was StarCraft 2 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he was quite a strong Zerg in StarCraft 2. Like, he did win a DreamHack way back in 2014. He showed some peaks that were pretty good. But yeah, it's hard to say how he'll do here. And by the way, guys, in case you're confused about the spawn bang thing that Rapid keeps saying, this is basically every pro gamer in StarCraft 1 nowadays plays on their stream on AfreecaTV, and there's a lot of sponsored matches that they get. Fans are sponsoring matches, people are playing against each other very regularly online in like real serious matches.
Yeah.
And that's all recorded spawn bang.
That's true. It's
whatever the
spawnbang.net, I believe.
net.
It's 2 B's in the bang too.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons to watch player streams, because they do play kind of competitive matches there.
There's serious matches going on very regularly. It's super cool.
So let's actually talk about our maps here today. We will be starting off, of course, on Sylphide before moving on to Autobahn and then Circuit Breaker as our final map. And I've actually had a lot of fun, Artosis, kind of getting to know some of these new games. So I can't wait to see what mine versus Sacsri looks like on Sylphide in Game 1.
Now playing on Sylphid.
It's important to note that it is now Sylphid. It was originally Sylphide, but then they took the E off when they revamped the map for this season of ASL. So Sylphid. I'm glad our robot voice in the sky can pronounce it correctly.
I thought it was Sylphid. I'm like, why is he calling it Sylphide?
Old habits die hard, Artosis.
Alrighty. We got mine over in the bottom left. There's a 3-player map, so down in the bottom right we have Sacsri's. Overlord will go in the wrong direction. That's all right. Let's see what builds these guys want to go for.
Yeah, you ever notice how Zerg players just don't get any scouting information for the first minute of the game? It's so a lot of times you'll see them drone scout just if they're super worried about something. I definitely would be in a best-of-1 tournament. So I wonder what kind of style we're going to see out of Sacsri here, because he is a really unknown quantity.
Sorry, I was taking a drink of water.
That was really bad timing on my part, Artosis.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
We'll synchronize our water drinking, and then it can just be silent for everybody.
Well, it looks like a center 8 racks is the order of the day. And we were talking about this a lot when Bill was playing.
That's right.
Where, if you're playing against a newer player and stuff, cheesing them can be very good. Now, to be fair, this guy isn't really a new player, Sacsri. He's like new to pro gaming level 2018 StarCraft 1, but he was a StarCraft 2 pro that actually had decent success, and he was a StarCraft 1 pro before that who didn't really have that much success, just meaning he was newer. He probably would have had success over time. Anyone who went to StarCraft 2 and had success was probably going to do so in StarCraft 1.
Yes, Sacsri's actually been playing for a very long time. He's one of the original, or not original, but close to the original members of We Made Fox, and then SKT, and then he played a ton of StarCraft 2 for My Insanity, a Swedish team. But now he's back here to StarCraft 1, so he's like, we talk a lot about like Rain or Sulky as players that have played StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, and had a lot of success. This is like mini version of those. Yeah.
I mean, to win a DreamHack is no small feat. Yeah. So it's pretty legit. Yeah, let's see how he does here. He's obviously getting 8 racks. It is the factory follow-up coming out of mine, so I do like that build quite a bit. Sacsri not making the pool quite yet, so we're definitely going to have to see a lot of drone micro coming out of him.
Yeah, early hatch, so he's trying to play maybe a little bit more economically. Finally, the pool coming down, but I mean, there's already going to be Marines coming in on the way, and this drone will give him that information after scouting the wrong direction with Overlord.
You can see his Overlord turn around, so it's going to kind of be spotting for incoming Marines and whatnot. Sacsri goes for a quick gas here as well, so if he lives through this well enough, he'll be getting into 2 hatchery play. He's going to have to bring out very quickly here some drones to fight off this bunker.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see how kind of panicked the players are. How many drones do they pull? And yeah, most of them off the line. I think maybe only 4 left in the main. And even if he does defend here, there is that factory follow-up that you were talking about.
Yeah, and he'll have to get a sunken against that. Oh, okay, it looks like that was maybe an extractor trick that he was doing with the gas. Not sure exactly,
okay.
But he does cancel that, which I think is actually a good play overall. I really don't like 2 hatch against 1-1-1s, but
the weirdest little knife fight we've got going on here. It's like nobody really wants to commit, but here we go. Drilling on top of the Marines. One gets taken down. A few drones dying here, and every drone is just so precious. So even if these Marines do get taken out, it looks like they will. That was actually a pretty good hold there by Sacsri.
Yeah, he loses 2 drones in ridiculous mining time.
Yeah, that was the biggest loss.
Yeah, so, I mean, 2 drones isn't too bad with an 8 racks. To be fair, you know, it did all right. And now that he has a Vulture on the way, he's going to have to make a sunken. You need one, or the Vulture will kill you by itself.
Yeah, guaranteed. So that's the creep colony coming down right there. I think that's one of the reasons Mine was kind of hesitant to push in. He's like, well, he's just got like 10 drones chilling on the map. I can just stay here, and this is damage done. So, yeah, he did pull them very early and commit a lot to it. But here's that first Vulture coming out. That'll be able to kill these Zerglings super easily and then head across the map.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to pick those off as well. Looks like he does get into the gas now, is making that sunken colony as well. We'll see where Sacsri wants to go. Is he just going to go directly into the lair or try something unbelievably cheesy? We shall see momentarily. But he's safe for now.
Yeah, the 1 and the 1 and the 1 coming through, and still no expansion in sight for Mine, so he is really going to kick it into high gear here. And this is where we kind of get a chance to see how much damage Sacsri truly did take there and how he's able to prepare for what Mine has coming his way.
Yeah, and we saw that Mind is actually upgrading on his machine shop already, right? That is almost certainly going to be speed for these Vultures, and he has a lot of flexibility with what he can do with this build, right?
Yeah.
He can just make the Wraith and do some scouting with it, kill some Overlords and whatnot. He absolutely can go into something like a Vulture drop. That is a super powerful version of this. You can go into Cloaked Wraiths. You can go up to Vessel. I don't know that we'll see that here, but...
Yeah, the big difference for this style as opposed to, something like, a +1 5 racks build is that, it was Mines.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely not what I was expecting, but it's not bad. This is kind of a cool thing about 1-1-1s. They're very flexible on what you can do. It's a very stylistic opener.
And I think that's one of the reasons that Flash is just so good at this build is because he just knows exactly what tiny variation of this build. I think the biggest weapon in any pro gamer's toolbox is flexibility. Because the better you are, the more you'll be able to really just use that to its maximum potential.
Yeah, if you're rigid, a championship player will kill you. You can still be a fantastic player, really. You can get into leagues, you can have good success, be a strong player that everyone respects, but the flexibility that you bring up is super important. And to be honest, I've seen some flexibility here out of Sacsri. I really like. He sees that there's Vultures out, he makes a sunken in his main. I mean, he's on kind of low economy, but that Vulture drop is certainly something that's in his mind and why he's made that sunken.
Yeah, you can tell that he absolutely knows exactly the correct reaction to everything that he sees here. So he knew how to deal with the early barracks, he knew how to deal with the Vulture follow-up, and he does have everything exactly where it should be, but you mentioned that low economy, and that is something that can be very scary, specifically against a Terran player. So we'll watch these Hydras move out. Now he's got to watch out for Mines. He does have that Overlord, so he will pick that one off. So yeah, I was just as surprised as you are, Artosis, to see Mines instead of Speed, where you might see, hey, maybe there's an opportunity for Vultures to just run right on through.
Well, Mines is, it's an old style, right? And like with Speed Vultures, they're super good against Lings coming out. And they're good because you can, like, if you do go for a dropship, you can kill every drone if they don't do something like the Sunken. But, I mean, the Mines, they do have a place. You can definitely go for that. And if your opponent's trying to run out, like, trying to break through those Mines against a very quick Terran player with, like, Speedlings or something is just going to be almost impossible because you have to send out so many to trigger even one Mine.
Wraith versus Hydralisk. We all know who wins that one. But 3 hatches up for Sacsri with saving Larva as well, so I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do with that. But I thought that drone was up there to throw down a base, and maybe it was. But yeah, it's blocked by a mine, so sad, drone.
Another nice aspect, right? If that mine hadn't been there, then he would have been able to make that by now.
Oh,
yeah, nice.
A Scourge on the Wraith already making these mutas super strong. And with the Queen's Nest coming up, I hope we see Guardians eventually.
You know what we're gonna... yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Guardians this game.
Right. I will be sad in that regard.
Yeah, and you might see them tonight. Like it's a possibility. Guardians are a little bit in vogue at the moment. Okay, great Irradiate, but
that's a good split though.
I really like actually the way that Sacsri is playing this game. Oh my
Oh
God.
no, 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 no.
Oh, you knew that was there too. That's so
yeah,
painful.
I thought he had an Overlord that I just couldn't see, but
This is so funny.
instead 3 Hydras do nothing.
Well, those mines really looking smart now, huh?
Yeah, man, I tell you, those it's a good thing they cost 75 minerals. I guess it's 25 apiece. And he kills the drone.
So
This
crazy.
is MVP Vulture right here.
Yeah, that Vulture was pretty sick. Oh, and he
Oh,
doesn't
he
even
gets
get the
the
mine.
mine
This is
down
it's too much, Rapid. It's too much.
What a tragedy.
But yeah, I want to talk about this exact build that we see Sacsri doing because it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
This is bringing together a lot of interesting ideas around playing against 1-1-1. First off, he's gone 2-hatch, right? So he's making you play a little bit defensive, but it wasn't like a super low econ 2-hatch. It was a little bit because there was an 8-racks, but he got into the 3rd hatch as quickly as he realistically could. He played pretty defensively. He had to build a couple sunkens. He was the first one you have to make. The second one was a safety. But the fact that he's gone into 3-hatch here and the quick evolution chamber, he's going to get upgrades. He's going to get a lot of units. He's going to have a macro approach rather than an all-in approach against this.
Yeah.
And it's so diametrically opposed to, for instance, how we saw Sulky play against Last in the round of 4, where Sulky was like, I'm on 2-hatch, I'm going to kill you, bro, and then he doesn't kill him over and over. This is a much more macro-esque play. I'm loving what we are seeing here out of Sacsri.
You know, I would be loving that if he weren't trying to play macro and then delaying his 3rd base by like 2 minutes with those mines. So
that's
a big hiccup to that macro play, but look at his Muta control. Oh no, double irradiate comes down. So much damage on those Mutas, but he's actually using it to deal damage to the SCVs. That's the sick 300 IQ play right there, and he picks off several.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, great irradiates, and he abuses mine because of them. So, Sacsri, I'm getting chills right now. Literally getting chills watching this. I am in love strategically with how he's playing this game. Control-wise, he's been playing fantastically as well. Look at this. He's keeping the pressure on against someone who's gone irradiate. He's keeping mine back. He's hurting his economy. But, and this is a big but, that army moving out, he cannot stop right now.
No, he's not splitting. Oh, that was terrible. But the turrets should be able to defend against the tiny Mutas. They were a little bit late or maybe just insufficient, so the Mutas really kicked into high gear there. But actually, you're right. He can kill all the SCVs he wants, but if he loses all of his buildings, he still loses the game.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's got some Ling Lurker. He's going to try to run forward. It is a lot of Lings.
Oh, first Lurker goes down. Second one does burrow. It is revealed, but too many Zerglings. So the Lurker's actually doing quite a bit of damage. The Mutas come back, and I don't know if there's actually going to be enough here, Artsos, as the Muta's going down, and the push survives.
Yeah, but you know what? He's bought a little bit of time. This type of tank push, you have to stop with Defiler. Your main army is never going to stop it. I think he felt like he had to attack in there because this was coming too quick.
Yeah, and there's Consume, and finally the Dark Swarm does come down. Yeah. Thankfully, mine hadn't sieged there. Otherwise, he would have lost a lot. But, you know, the Swarm's out, so he will be able to defend, but for how long?
Yeah, it's super tough. He throws another one down, so he will get a Ling in here. It's only one. He really, if he had a bit more army here to fight with, I mean, he could clear this, and if he can clear this army one time, it becomes a game. But this push is still so strong.
Hydra's under Dark Swarm. Let's think about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
The Lurkers, thankfully, will be pretty effective, and so those will hold on, but only until there's another Irradiate to kill them.
Well, he's about to run out of his Dark Storm as well, so that's becoming a bit more difficult. He's got Irradiates left over here. Those Dark Storms are about to go down as well, so even though he'll get this burrow off, I mean, it's about to disappear.
Yeah, it just dies instantly, and I think this is just going to do it. Mine, the third base really never came up or online for Sacsri. He takes too much pressure, and the Mutas were really good. Like, that was cool, but when he brought them back, he just wound up losing everything. And that's going to do it. GG, Sacsri taps out Mind, wins game number 1.
Yeah, and that was a really nice game. Like, Mind with a very big pressure build in the beginning. I thought that Sacsri was doing his absolute best to come out in an intelligent, strategic, macro-oriented way. And it did not end up working because Mind did such a sharp push there. That was fantastic. But I think that both these guys are playing very well today.
I was really impressed by Sacsri.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how he does in the lower match. He could absolutely be somebody that makes it to the final match of the day. And I'm excited because it's always cool to see new faces in ASL.
Indeed it is. But this old face going up to that winner's match.
That is true. When I tweeted my emoji for mine was a giant brain because he is the scholar Terran. So smart, knew exactly how to close that game out, and so very well deserving of the win in game number 1. And, you know, that means it's going to be exciting to see who will advance to face him, and we'll find out when he come back with Best versus Movie.
We are stranded on a sinking ship. We're going under. And a gas gonna break when we sink like a soul sucked into the unknown. We are stranded. We are stranded.
Yeah. Is this on? Sick of having empty habits leading to the selfish havoc. I'm lonely in my own bones. You're unweaving where you stand. Stitch me into all your plans. Just like a cherry stone. Temporary fleeting thrills keep me bruised and make me ill. My skin has lavender tones. Tell me I'm a loaded gun. Tie me up and come undone. I could cover it up. 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 I know I'm not on death, but I just float in it. I'm trying to do my best. I pick your fights with it. I wanna be upset. You're not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it. I'm trying to speak my mind. Wish it was by design, but I can only confess to having doubts with it. Don't wanna feel regret. I'm not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it. Spending time with or without you, cutting corners just to get you out of my goddamn mind. Keep your words from where they're brewing. I want something worth pursuing. Still letting you curl my spine. Temporary fleeting thrills keep me bruised and make me ill. My lonely lavender bones tell me how to hurt for fun. Tie me up and come undone. I could cover it up. I could cover it. I know I'm not on death, but I just float in it. I'm trying to do my best. I pick your fights with it. I wanna be upset. You're not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it. I'm trying to speak my mind. Wish it was by design, but I can only confess to having doubts with it. Don't wanna feel regret. I'm not alright with it. I could cover it up. I could cover it. What have I done? Chewing on my words. Nothing's enough. I lose myself in the dirt. Sold all my time to a plastic ecstasy. Nothing's
SBS and AfreecaTV presents
And we're back.
ASL Season
Oops.
That's right.
Talking
Artosis.
really deeply there about that last game and how it was like he's rushing up to Hive, right? And the thing is, when you see a regular tank timing push against Zerg, I think I misspoke there just slightly. You're rushing to Dark Swarm to stop that, but that's when it's a regular opening, not a 1-1-1. When it's a 1-1-1, they have the vessels, so trying to rely on things like Dark Swarm to hold on, using so much gas to get into that, get your consume up, your Dark Swarms going, get a few lurkers under those Dark Swarms, and you went mutas. This is a lot of strain on your gas. And the thing is, I liked the third hatchery, I liked the Evolution Chamber, but I think you have to focus more on lots of units to make sure you stop that first push. And I think that might be where he went wrong in that game.
I think we were saying that maybe he just teched up a little bit too quickly, and
Possibly,
if he had just tried to like get super
so.
solid, I think the real kind of wrench in his plan is when all that drone vulture shenaniganry went down at the 12 o'clock base. He's like, well, he's trying to get another base up and maybe play that macro style, but he couldn't, and maybe that kind of triggered him a little bit there towards the middle. But either way, Mind advances on to the winner's match, and that sets us up for our next match coming up. Of course, some big fans there in the audience as well. But the next match coming up is super exciting for me because we get a chance to watch Best, who is just my favorite Protoss right now. I guess Rain is super good, but Best's style is just undeniable. And he's been performing very, very well, specifically in ASL. And KSL he did very well as well. So I'm really excited to see how he does against Movie, who I never know what to expect out of him.
Yeah, Movie's a little bit hit or miss at times, whereas Best is mostly hit. and hit and hit.
That's
hit.
true.
He's definitely one of the very best Protoss players out there.
He's like the Muhammad Ali. He's the one doing the hitting and then dodging the hits coming his way.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's like a further analogy to go there. Maybe I could call him like Muhammad. I'm trying to work Do in there just because like that's what the Koreans do. But yeah, he's been doing very, very well lately, and I think everybody would kind of favor him against Movie. I think most of the predictions I saw had him getting out first in the group, but for Movie, he's just been a little bit up and down, and specifically lately, he's kind of been favoring this like weird carrier style that I don't see working out a lot for him, so I don't know what to expect from him, and you can see that his best matchup is versus Protoss, so I hope that comes to play today.
Yeah, and he is a good PvP player. We've had some good PvPs from him recently in KSL and all that. But the map definitely comes into play, right? Sylphid, it's interesting because everything is flat, and you always do have to think of that. It's not that your main is down a ramp, but it's still flat, and it's actually a very small choke. So if you can push someone beyond that choke, coming out of that very small choke is similar in a lot of ways to coming up a ramp. It's not as bad. But definitely that can be an issue. So I think that early aggressions here are definitely something that we have to look out for.
Yeah, you're going to see probably some Shuttle Reaver play, but Best has these DT technologies that he just uses better than everything I've seen from Protoss players. He was the guy that got the DT just in that tiny little place in the mineral line in that previous game he played in the other
Stork.
league. Yeah, versus Stork. I'm just like, you can't do that. That is so dirty.
It's the dirtiest.
I'm hoping that we see some down and dirty PvP play from Best here. For Movie, I don't know what to expect, but if he looks solid, he could absolutely get out of this group. And it's Sylphid, so it's not a map that our players have played on for a very long time, but they should still know what to expect.
Yeah. So PvP, I mean, pretty straightforward. Looking forward to seeing how this goes. Which Protoss will go up to fight against Mind. I think he's crossing his fingers that Movie takes this one.
Now playing on Sylphid.
Indeed we are. They're saying good job, and it's like, yeah, you too. Okay, so here we go. For our second match of the day, in the upper 12 o'clock location is Movie, and down the bottom left is Best.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Every game. We get to watch this game as a reward for sitting through every PvP on Gladiator, where like the high ground and low ground make such a difference in PvP, and here there is just none of that to deal with. So.
Yeah, that's definitely something. But again, the flat maps play a little bit different than maps with a ramp. It's this would be like in between Gladiator and Fighting Spirit as far as the way that this terrain functions. Obviously, if you have that high ground advantage, you can really kind of jump up your tech quickly. Here, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful. But the choke is tiny, so that can be used defensively as well as offensively. Got a pretty good audience here today, I would say.
Yeah, started off a little bit slow, but now there's actually tons of people filling in. I know, Best and Movie are both super popular streamers, so people coming down to support them in their respective matches. And just people visiting. It's the best thing you could do for your day. And it's raining outside, so of course you need to be inside.
Yeah.
That's the excuse I'm using.
There you go.
I would be inside anyway.
It just started raining, though, right as we were getting here.
That is true. It was very bad timing. I was trying to use my mediocre Korean to figure out what that is. It's like, so StarCraft player. Okay, I didn't see what the rest of that said.
Okay.
Either way, I was trying to do the second worst thing you can do on air. First is doing math on air, and second is trying to read Korean for me. So glad we made it past that one, Artosis. We survived, and now we're about to find out what this probe is out doing on the map for Best.
I think it's just a scout. He's going to go up and check out where Movie's at. Most Day Sapley. See what's going on.
Sounds like something like Bill or Ted would say in their Excellent Adventures.
Most Day Sapley.
Most Day Sapley, dude.
That's actually a slog 4ism.
Oh my god.
Old USA Protoss player, now Poker Pro.
Yeah, I saw him
he always said
maybe a year ago out here. Yeah, I'm not sure he said that, but glad to know the origin.
Well, you didn't get to hang out with him very much because he says it a lot.
Okay.
But, anyways, just a little bit of harass with the probe. Some nice moves here by Best. Of course, he did spend that extra money to get this probe in his base right away.
Yeah, the opportunity cost, but at least from what I can see is it's just a slightly slower Cybercore there for movie. Nothing too, what is that, divergent just yet.
Best getting his Zealot a little bit later. It's one of the nice things because of that probe as well. I think he did make a Zealot, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it's at, is choke.
Oh, you mean Best? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, every time I see Protoss players just go Dragoon first, I'm just like, there are just so many builds that just kill you.
Yeah, like a Zealot and Pylons.
I'm so upset every time people get away with that. Or when I see good players do it and win, I'm just like, you're enabling so many players to learn from this and lose games. But yeah, we do see both players kind of, you know, being honest with their builds and just starting out. Of course, they're going to be scouted by things like that probe, so it's they do have to deal with that before they do anything super crazy.
Yeah, Bess is getting his range, as is Movie at the moment. See what the techs are going to be momentarily here. Of course, he knows Dragoon's going to be popping out pretty quickly, which will get rid of his probe.
Yeah,
Movie not so interested in scouting, huh?
I was pretty surprised about that because in PvP, I mean, there are just really hard build order counters, and you know, I don't know exactly if they would be super, you know, pointed enough this game, but I mean, Best is going for some DTs, and Movie doesn't know about it.
Oh, Best is going DT?
Well, I saw a Citadel.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
there
you're
it
right.
is.
Okay, so he's going to win this game.
Yep. Gateways do not have detection, unfortunately.
No.
So.
And you know what? I think this might have even been a good read, considering Movie didn't even scout him, right? It's he's saving up his minerals in a certain degree. Of course, I can't necessarily always mean that. If that became a read, that'd be something that you would start randomizing in your play. But he's gone for 3 gates, and he's playing against DT. So that's where the DT walks up and kills you.
So you say that, but I believe it was Best who played. I'm not sure. I think it might have been against Movie, but it might have been against Stork as well. In KSL, Best won a game going 3-gate into a DT player, and it was just the most insane thing I've ever seen. He should not have been able to win that game.
That's right, and that was a very specific thing on Blue Storm.
Yes.
Actually, he did end up losing that game, but it was really close. And he actually had a lead early on, if you recall. So what happened was he did a tight wall at his natural Blue Storm with double forge. And that's just, it's tight. The DT can't get through. Something like that doesn't exist on Sylphid. Or, you know, there would be the possibility of that, right?
Yeah. Well, regardless, Movie did not seem interested in scouting early. He is committing to the 3-gate and will be very sad when invisible units kill everything he has. I mean, there are crazy worlds in which there are just too many units for Movie and he just winds up still killing everything and dealing critical damage, but I don't know if that's the world we live in.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything like a Forge Star yet. I think the DT you just have to send, and the second DT has to defend for you.
So he did trigger the warning that he's being attacked, and he's going to use it to defend instead.
A Forge instantly should have started here for Movie, and I believe it did. He's actually pulling probes to fight this. Okay, so, I mean, for me, I look at this and think that the DT was supposed to go to try to end the game instantly because it looks pretty obviously like a 3-gate. But instead, like, I guess you're still ahead as Best, right? Maybe there's more of a chance that you lose the game. So if you don't do this.
Yeah, and I think for Best, he recognizes that maybe the more valuable commodity than going to try to win the game is just having a Nexus, which can be so impossible to get in PvP. But now he has one. He's held off the aggressive 3-gate build, and even if there is a Forge started in defenses for Movie, none of that matters because there's just an extra Nexus. He's thrown down DT tech of his own, and a Forge.
When the DT started swiping him, he didn't start the Forge. He just started the Forge.
That's right. So the DT
he still just loses.
Yeah.
What?
No, he did things.
I want Movie to get out of the group today so that in the interview they can be like, "Hey, so you were attacked by a DT and you had plenty of time to get a Forge and then you didn't. What's that all about?"
Well, the other thing I was thinking is, okay, so you build a DT and then you like hold position it to block the DT from coming in, but like even he didn't even have time for that. And now he loses the game. So that's unfortunate. Wow.
What? It has to just be a mistake when he was microing his units. Because he, like I saw on the minimap, he could go over and build something that was Forge sized the instant he was attacked by DTs.
Okay, what is... I guess he's trying to build a bastion of hope out on the map.
That doesn't do anything.
No, it absolutely does not do anything. Because behind this, Best is not still continuing to build DTs. He's actually like building units and stuff to win the game.
Oh,
and
you see, okay, yeah, you're right. He's going to send DTs and he hopes that just free wins for him. And he has 2 cannons that don't get killed. But instead, Best realizes that this is the only thing that can occur. And he's just like sitting there with cannons with probes surrounding him.
He could build a line, a great wall of DTs to keep that movie from getting into his base. Because he has no units that detect anything. GG!
Okay, that has to just be a gigantic mistake that he did not instantly build the Forge. Because if he instantly built the Forge, like, he'll have a cannon at least, right? There's something going on instead of 0 chance.
Yeah, there's a phrase that I learned from the FGC that applies here, and it's "we take those." Okay, so for Best, maybe he's confused about what happened, but he's gonna take it, right? A win's a win, and he's gonna move on to face off against Mind. Because even if you don't deserve the win, I mean, he's a Protoss player, memes aside, but you got to take what you can get. And he's like, okay, well, maybe I still could have won a more technical long game, but he won. So a win's a win. He moves on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, as far as builds, his build did counter movies.
Movie didn't scout at all that game, and he knows that those counters exist, and that's why.
Well, I mean, he had a sharp build. It didn't work out. He goes to loser match. Next up, Best versus Mind after this quick commercial break.
There's no time to waste. What you working with got you going for days. It's your time to shine. Go and get it, get it, get it. What you waiting for? There's no time to waste. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Here we go. Come and get it. It's ready for you. Come and get it. What you gonna do? It's yours for the taking. No need to be waiting. Come and get it. You can take it now. Take it to the house. If you want it. Come and get it. All you gotta do is just make your move. Take it to the house, there's nothing to lose. Take your place on top, go and get it, get it, get it. All you gotta do is just make your move. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Here we go. Come and get it. It's ready for you. Come and get it. What you gonna do? It's yours for the taking. No need to be waiting. Come and get it. You can take it now. Take it to the house. If you want it. Come and get it. If you want it. Come and get it. If you want it. Come and get it. Are you ready? Come and get it. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Get it, get it, get it. Are you ready? Come and get it. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Get it, get it, get it. Come and get it. It's ready for you. Come and get it. What you gonna do? Come and get it. It's ready for you.
SBS and AfreecaTV presents ASL Season 6.
Okay, we are back. And now it's time for the winner's match. Mind going up against Best, a rematch from KSL. Best, of course, kind of stomped Mind 3-0. There was some good games in there too, but
not the first one.
Which one was the first one?
So there are two that come to mind. The first
Storm
one
game was pretty good.
Yeah, that was the third one, I believe. So the first one, when they played against each other in that best of 5, Best won with 2 Zealots and a Probe. The only units that did damage that game, 2 Zealots, a Probe, and they won the game. Second game, Best had a Probe that had 7 kills on it. And so that was also a big fat L for Mind.
That's true.
And so the third game was in fact quite good. So it looks like it
was
looks
a nice
like
close game.
3-0, but that doesn't tell the whole story. But I'm certainly hoping that Mind has learned his lesson there and is going to bring a different level of play here against Best, because they are absolutely still 2 very skilled players, both of their era and in the current one.
And I tell you, it's Autobahn. I think this is a very doable map for TVP. I'm not sure exactly where Balance will land on all these maps, but it seems good.
Fight!
It's time.
Now playing on Autobahn.
Finally, we get the crowd to kick in there. I'm never sure about how to intro into the game, because that song is just like so hype.
It's hype, yeah.
Gets me. That's the song that you like jam out to in your room when you're alone and have no friends. Not that that applies to me, because I'm cool and hang out with all the flyest guys. But that I would do that if I were less cool than I already am. Not as cool as these guys, of course.
Yeah, no, these guys are the coolest.
By far. Mine's got the big sexy brain.
With the hottest guys. So.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's prerequisite. Best, of course, cool for different, more carnal reasons, but he also is known for a very, very brainy play. But I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Best is doing today. He can't really feel like he got much of a warm-up in that first game with a build order win. So maybe that gives Mind maybe a little bit of an advantage, because at least he got to play the game,
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Best, though, that's okay. He's just sending a very quick scout. I was wondering if he might do a proxy gate and say, well, if I won with a Probe and 2 Zealots against you in KSL, what about 3 Zealots?
But mind games.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going very quickly over here. It could even be like a gas steal. I'd be a little bit surprised with a gas steal, but we'll see what his follow-up would be.
Not quite a high 5, but the SCV turns back around. And yeah, there it is coming through. Whoa, Mind! Fastest SCV in the West.
Yeah, so this is interesting for a few reasons. Now, there's some good mana pylon spots in there, so he's got to be careful about that. But the fact that, like, there's a little bit of mind games involved with this, right? Because the Probe comes in and acts like it's going to take your gas. If you choose to go gas first, your barracks is now, like, either you're kind of skipping an SCV and going 11, or you're waiting for a kind of late 12, right? And if they've done a proxy gate and this was almost a fake, or if they had any sort of plan like that, obviously this could go a little bit south.
It's still lost mining time, right?
Yeah.
You're getting your SCV to build a gas maybe ahead of schedule. There's every SCV that's chasing the Probe that's not mining, so... Oh, here we go. Oh,
yeah, there it is.
There we go.
So that traps 2 SCVs and makes terrible mining for a lot more. So that was a really good proxy or offensive pylon there.
So one of the reasons you have to guess that Best did this is because in game 1, his first scouting Probe killed an SCV the last time they played offline. So that's got to stick in Mind's mind, and you got to know that Best is just trying to be as annoying as possible to hopefully kind of send this series down the same direction the last one took.
And I want to mention as well, based on the SCV movements that we saw before the Probe got here, I'm fairly certain that Mind wanted to go for a gasless expansion. And when he saw the Probe, he had to cancel, right? Because it's going to become very annoying. You're going to have like 3 SCVs out. Plus, he could steal your gas, which is going to slow down your factory timings. Just the harassment in general. He might have made a proxy gate. You're not 100% sure. So there's already like a book's worth of things that have occurred in this game and changed how this game is flowing. Like, I don't think Mind is prepared for a gas expand here, but That's being a little bit, oh my god, this is amazing because it's a hurt SCV. Brought a probe out to stop it.
Look at how many times he hit that.
These guys are too good.
15 health.
I need to pause the game several times to explain how good and why good.
Somewhere Bisu in his military, he's like doing push-ups, and all of a sudden he's like, excuse me, Sergeant, I feel a disturbance. There's somebody else that's also doing godlike probe micro. So, well, for Best, yeah, he is absolutely killing it. Mind, slapping him back.
Yeah, this is becoming increasingly popular with regular factory expands to go ahead and harass your opponent's natural with a little eBay. It's actually pretty darn good. But yeah, this game already is kind of crazy back and forth. Look at that, he actually snipes that SCV. That was so low on health.
Wow. Okay. Also, I don't believe that Best got a Zealot. You know, and not that that's super as common as we would have seen in like the PvP, but it definitely helps when it comes to killing off people building engineering base on your.
I would say,
Nexus.
Yeah, if you're going, I don't like the Zealot with a build like this, just because, like, for instance, if you do get the offensive gas off, or if you are making offensive buildings, it's going to slow everything else down. And if you're forcing them into Marines already, like the Zealot is best when they're like skimping on Marines, right? But if they already have 2-3 Marines and the Zealot gets there, it dies so quickly.
Well, I mean, you say that, but the last time, Best was obviously doing a different build more aggressively. His Zealots just killed everything. So all I'm trying to say is the more it looks like the last series, the better it is for Best. But we'll see what he's going for. Reaver Tech on the way.
Can't deny these things you're saying, Rapid, for sure. Yeah, the Reaver Tech going to be an interesting one here. Mind hasn't added a second factory as of yet. Let's see if he goes for it. I don't think that he's going to. I think it's kind of everything's been thrown off enough.
Yeah.
Well, he'll probably make the second factory, but the move out, I guess, is what I'm really talking about, right?
Right.
And so on these types of move outs, if you do end up doing this move out, and he'll have to build a couple more Marines. If he lands this and starts making Marines, it's because he's going to go attack.
Yeah.
But it's going to be late. This is like a very quick robo. He's going to have that Reaver out extremely quickly before the push can hit. So I don't think that he has any chance of actually getting damage done with the push.
Yeah, every time you say Marines and there's a Protoss as your opponent, going Reavers, I just, all I see is a bunch of hefty bags full of tomato sauce exploding. So hopefully that is not what is in our future here. And it does look like, yeah, he is just adding on factories, going into that mech.
So he should be making like at least an academy and an armory at this point. It has to start to build up that tech tree a little bit. He's been a little bit stifled in certain ways, but he's like pretty safe at the moment. Here comes the Reaver now.
Indeed,
this is a very quick Reaver.
On the way. You're absolutely right. What are we at? Oh, yeah, 6 minutes, 20 seconds. That is, I think this is similar to what he did in the, I think it's game 2 of their previous series, and it just kind of killed everything. This time there's tanks out, and there weren't in that one, but we'll see how effective this is.
He's got enough that he can definitely defend against it, and his building placements are starting to get pretty good. Like he has a deep on the edge of his base, so that could see the shuttle before it gets to his actual main part of his base where the damage could get done.
All right, so how effective is this going to be? It looks like it's just going to get all the way in. Tanks finally coming back, but they won't be sieged. Here comes the Reaver. How good's the shot? There is 3 taken down. More. That's the money shot. And the Marines don't get there in time to push the shuttle away or threaten it. I mean, he's going to head out, but that's already like 7-8 kills.
Yeah, that was. I think it got 7 overall, and that is such a legitimate first run at the Reaver.
Absolutely worth rushing
that was really
quickly.
Yeah, no, that was super good. I mean, if he blocks it perfectly, then the game is pretty even. But taking that much damage, I think there's nothing Mine can do except expand from here. There's not going to be any sort of timing that he can hit. Like the Best is kind of dictating the pace of this game thus far.
Oh, really? From minute 1, that early scouting probe. Getting not critical damage done, but just being so annoying that it throws Mind off. And that's a lot of Brood War is specifically just like mechanical, right? But it's so what do you do with your Mind if your mechanics are just so godlike? Well, one of the things you can do is think about how to kind of right the ship, right? If you do take that early damage or just harassment, I want to see what Mind's Mind does with that. How does he get back on track?
Well, he's actually chosen what to do to get back on track, and it's very interesting. We saw him scan that observer.
Yeah.
He's got Goliath all on the edge of his base. This is not just for Reavers, but it's to catch observers as well, because he is going for a heavy two-base push.
Okay.
And this can work. You make enough Goliaths that you can pick off the shuttle, because the shuttle is almost everything for Best right now. The Dragoons are like just kind of buffering. They help, obviously, but if he can deal well with the Reavers, with the shuttle, that is where Best has put most of his money.
Runs the Vultures forward and kind of holds off that Reaver for just a second. So this heavy push, I don't know if Best necessarily has gotten the signal for it yet, but he is going to stop the Vultures from getting in to see anything, including that third.
Yeah, and every unit pickoff definitely does count right now. Is that Best going up for 6 gates at the moment, it looked like? The 5th factory being added, that's about as much as you really can have on 2 bases. You can technically get up to 6, but it's mostly Vultures. But he's got his gases, and you know, he's got a healthy Goliath count and all this. Yeah, look at that, he's even got the range. So
I think that's the 3rd scan he's used to try to kill that. He lifted, so he tried to scan and kill it, but he got high ground and avoided vision. And then he tried again, but it flew out of range because the Charon boosters weren't done.
Yeah.
And now finally he's killed it off. So maybe a little bit slow on that, but he has eliminated that scouting information.
yeah, he really doesn't want Best to know exactly what's going on. If Mine can get up really far and close to in position before he has to siege, that makes the push so much stronger.
Okay, so he's got to be looking at this opening. He knows there's going to be another observer coming up soon, and if he can take that one out, then absolutely, yeah, the elements of surprise will be his. But now running forward, can he catch this shuttle? Well, there's only one Goliath here, but he kills off the Reaver. A huge pickup for Mind.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. The 2nd Reaver does pop out. This is some great micro by Best as well. Just getting a few Scarab shots here and there. Really important stuff. Oh, wow. Gets a tank.
Oh, yeah, and one's very heavily damaged. Those Dragoons might even be able to pick that one off. But more importantly, he might even actually... Oh, 2! The bonus round here. Look at Best just so adeptly handling this. His equanimity, the calmness under pressure of this push, so sick.
Just fantastic execution there by Best. Just fantastic. What else can be said?
This is akin to like some of the stuff we'd watch Bisu do in high-pressure micro situations. He just handles it so perfectly. I know he's going back for the and one, trying to fly back in the base.
Well, this is a great call as well. Like, go back and harass. Taxes multitasking, because Best has enough gates. He's fine, man.
Artosis.
Oh, jeez.
GG. No.
Yeah, this is...
yeah, everything there's going to die, so this push has got to do it. Some great mind hits coming through, but the Zealots on top of these first tanks. Now, it's a pretty deep line, but the Dragoons just keep coming. But with no Zealot support, this might be a whole lot of blue goo in our future.
Well, he's got the high ground there.
Oh, no. What?
I think that Best has basically sealed this game at this point.
Yep, that's it. GG. Best dominates through to advance out first from Group C.
Well, that was really a masterclass of PvT from Best. He's so good at this matchup. And I tell you, the more I'm watching him play against everybody except Flash, like he does very well against Flash as well, but I mean, he's so monstrous. He's just better at this matchup than Mind is at the other side. There's no question.
Damn. Best just dominating. I think a lot of people predicted Best to get out first in his group, but I did not, and maybe probably even Best didn't expect the games to just look that good for him. What a god. I cannot wait to see more of this guy. In ASL, other tournaments, he's just playing on fire right now.
Well, certainly looked at there, some great harassment, or not even really the harassment. Yeah, you got those 7 SCVs. That wasn't the game decider, though. It was just the fact that he kited so well. He picked up multiple Goliaths. He got siege tanks, damaged siege tanks. The actual push of Mind was slowed. It was bruised. It was battered. Oh my God, just greatly done by Best, and a very well-deserved first place in this group tonight.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say in the interview, so let's head on over to our host, Hyung and see what Best has to say. So, welcome Best, you're the first player to advance out of this group. Congratulations.
깔끔하게 2승 챙기고 16강 도약에 성공하셨습니다. 소감부터 여쭤볼게요.
So, a flawless 2 wins, advance on to the round of 16. How do you feel?
쉽지는 않다고 생각을 했었어요.
He says,
다들 현역 때 잘했던
you know, personally, I didn't feel like this group was going to be very easy because they all played very well. They were all pro gamers. So when I've played against them recently, I thought the games were really difficult. So I was really happy that I was able to defeat them and make it on my way. So it seems like those wins are very decisive.
이 다크 빌드를 좀 짜오셨는지도 궁금해요.
아, 네, 원래 사업 다크를 하려고 했었는데
So
사실
you really killed Movie with those Dark Templar. Did you prepare your build that way? He says, actually, I made a big mistake when I was executing that build.
영화가 3개
when
들어갔을 때
my
제가
Dark
창작을
Templar was
했는데 투자가
produced,
됐던
I
게
actually
그래서 좀
killed
그
it?
실수를
Or
해가지고
네.
His first
좀
Dragoon.
당황하긴
Oh,
했지만
Dragoon.
빌드가 다행히 많이 먹어서 다행인 것 같아요.
제대로
I actually
진영아
could have had
선수
3
3게이트를
DTs,
카운터 치셨는데
but I had to
이 두
rebuild that.
번째
So that was a
경기에서도
big mistake,
마찬가지로
but,
리버
it
경기를
didn't
거의
cost me the game.
지배하셨어요.
네.
이렇게 좀 빠르게 리버 판단을 하신 이유가 있나요?
일단은
You know, it
요즘에
seems like your Reaver play
메타가
was
좀
actually
소금
super sick
셔츠를
as well.
많이 쓰면서 플레이하는 게 메타라서 저도
Because
언제까지나
recently,
제
you know, the
스타일대로
meta-
할 수 없기 때문에 이런 빌드를 선택을 했고 그게 요즘에
It's kinda
연습을
changed my
많이
play
하고
style a
있어서
little
자신도
bit.
있었고 해서 잘 통할 수 있었던 것 같아요.
So I've been practicing a
지난
lot more
ASL 시즌
Reaver
5에서
play.
이제 탈락하고 난 후 개인
And I
방송을 통해서도
executed
굉장히
it in offline
아쉬움을
matches, and
토로를
it worked really well.
하셨어요.
네.
그래서 이번 시즌에는 반드시 좀 토너먼트를 뚫고 다전제까지 좀 가고 싶은 마음이 돋보였던 것
So
같아요.
recently,
이번 시즌 어떠신가요?
You haven't had some good
사실
results,
저번
so you
시즌
felt kind
탈락하고 나서
of
이제
disappointed in our
방송에서
opening
좀
interview. So you must feel really
한계가
great
온 것
right
같다고
now
생각을
after
했었어요.
advancing
정말
on.
실제로 했었고 팬들한테 그래서 대회가 뭐
Yeah, I actually said that to my fans on my stream. I said I am absolutely going to work hard to make it forward.
제가 성적이 당장 안 나오더라도 저는 계속 도전할 거니까 많이 응원해 주셨으면 좋겠어요.
네, 팬들도
He
굉장히
says even though I
구정
didn't
선수가
get the
흔들릴 때
results
많이
that I
응원을
wanted
해주시더라고요. 많이
earlier,
힘이
I'm
되실 것
always
같아요.
going to keep trying to get better results in the future.
제가 뭐 스타를 이렇게 오래 할지 몰랐어요.
He says, she says, yes, your fans are actually supporting you a lot. He says, yeah, I didn't actually expect to be playing as a pro gamer this
네,
long.
오늘 승리
So
다시 한번 축하드리고요. 16강에서도 멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다.
I think this is only possible because of my fans. So thank you so much to my fans for supporting me this long. She says, once again, congratulations, and that's going to do it for our interview. Best advancing on 2-0.
All right, off to the break. We'll be right back.
Next to me, try not to read all the signals I mix. So young and free, it's dumb and stupid, cause normally I'd see it. So sweet inside. Oh, Juliet, I like your melodrama. Get in my head and we can go it alone. Oh, 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 yeah. Kick your shoes off, take a load off. I can buy some drinks if it means hanging out with you. Super small talk, we could just walk back to my street. I'd rather not be staying out all night. I'm getting tired of the weekends. Staying out all night. I think I'm over all your fake friends and taking pictures of them. I don't wanna be relatable. I barely go outside alone. When I do it quiet so nobody knows. It's the life I always dreamed, and I don't lack a single thing. So why does it feel like nothing's ending up where it's supposed to be? Can't figure it out. My heart's a rental. I made friends with all my doubts, hardly existential, and essentially all I ever see are computer screens. And it seems like there's gotta be something more to me. But perception isn't everything. Work with what you have. If it's bottled up emotion, pop the cork, tip it back. I'm not acting high and mighty, I'm just high and I'm sad. But can you take another picture, cause the lighting was bad. Get pictures of them.
SBS and AfreecaTV presents ASL Season 6.
We are back
in the club, apparently. Jamming out. All right. Sometimes it's the Jeffersons, sometimes it's a techno rave. We never know what to expect here on ASL, but a very dominant performance by Best gets him out of the group first, and now we have to find out who will be our last survivor. So we head into our elimination match between Sacsri and Movie.
Indeed, this should be actually a really nice match, I think. You know, Movie's been doing pretty well in individual leagues overall. He's popping in, he's qualifying quite regularly. He's showing some good games here and there. Definitely had a flub against Best without any doubt. But yeah, Sacsri, I liked how he looked against Mind. Even though he lost that game, there was some very, very good aspects of that. And I don't really know much about Autobahn ZVP right now, though.
Well, we're about to learn about it, so let's head into game.
Now playing on Autobahn.
Go, go! Well, here we go. On to Autobahn, and yeah, I don't know what to expect here, but I agree. Sacsri did look like, you know, he was playing the DDR pretty well. He's a great Step Mania player. You throw something at him, and he's like, okay, this is how I deal with that. Then another arrow comes back on another angle, and he stops that one. He stops the next one. But ultimately, he did kind of fall far behind in his first game. So I want to see how he looks against Movie. And for Movie, I mean, I just want to see a game that, you know, goes well for him, because I feel like we haven't really gotten a chance to see him play yet.
Yeah, let's see, though. I mean, he's a good Protoss player. I always underestimate him and how well he'll do. I never even really expect him to qualify for all the stuff he does. Like, when he made it into KSL, I was like, oh, wow, look at that. In fact, that was like, wasn't he the one that knocked out Larva there?
Yeah, he was, and really it's surprising to see the path that Movie takes. You don't always see this reflected in results, but for instance, every time he's qualified for ASL, he qualifies for the Seoul qualifier, which is the most difficult of all of the qualifiers.
That's a good thing to bring up.
It's the first one, and so all the pro players are playing in it. That's where, you know, most of them live, with a few exceptions. And so he qualifies through very difficult groups. You mentioned in KSL he eliminated Larva. Very, very strong performance there. And so he goes through a lot to make it into these tournaments. But once he shows up offline, you know, you never know what to expect. That's what I always say. And currently today, it feels like an off day. I hope he's going to be able to turn it around.
Well, we're going to see about that just momentarily here, because Sacsri's gone for a 9 pool. So definitely a little bit aggressive opening up, not necessarily all in. Oh, is he going to keep that geyser going? All right, that was not an extractor trick, everybody.
No, I mean, every once in a while, you know, if I'm playing, because I'm trying to, you know, learn more Zerg, I forget that all the time. I'm just like, let me just cancel that, but the cancel doesn't cancel. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm getting speed this game. But no, he is going to commit to it, and the pro will actually see this and be able to kind of be annoying in the base for a little bit longer. But absolutely. I mean, those will be fast links coming out.
Yeah, and quite quickly. So Movie is going to have to play very, very defensively here. A lot of times we see a couple cannons go up. The Nexus is obviously going to be quite delayed, but don't forget, Sacsri's hatchery going to be a bit delayed as well. You know, you're making all these things at early pool, your drones are lower, you're mining a bunch of gas. It definitely does add up for Zerg as well.
Sacsri's hatchery. Say that 5 times fast. But here comes
Sacsri hatchery.
Yes.
Hatchery.
Yeah, I would mess that up 10 different ways each time. So the 6lings are out. I guess what that is 5 of them. The other one is on vacation.
What do you think about this stifled cannon? I kind of like that placement. Like
I've
when
never seen that before.
They try to run through, right? So that one's going to get a later shot off than the other one that goes a little bit further down. I wonder about this. Stuff like this is intriguing.
I always wonder about what the value is from having surface area on the cannon, because obviously you can just get a full 360 on that one, and I never know exactly where you're supposed to put those. That's
like the surface area of Ling's attacking them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily the biggest idea. Obviously, if it's out in the open, it's easier. The thing is, cannons don't go flush against anything, so Zerglings can always get it. It's just like, how good is the pathing when they go for it?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see if he decides to go for that bust. You know, I've been watching a whole lot of Zerg players commit to busts that they know they're probably not going to execute successfully. And I hope that's not what we see here. But one big facet of Autobahn are these rear power generators.
Yes.
And so he's already starting to work through those, and that probe will tip Movie off that, you know, that is a liability of that natural.
Do you actually know how many are stacked there?
I believe it is 5.
Yet. 5? Okay,
yes.
so that's actually, you can get through that reasonably quickly.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So there were a bunch of different versions of Autobahn that came out.
Yeah.
And they all kind of changed a few different things about it. So that definitely could have changed. There's a bunch of minerals stacked up there too if you want to try to mine through that, but that takes a little bit longer.
There's 24 there, so you'd have to bring 3 workers to get through.
Yeah, which is just going to take
At
quite a while.
The latest version that I played was 24. I'm pretty sure that this is that version, but I guess you never really know, do you?
I guess somebody out there does. And that person will tweet or post on the internet angrily about it.
No doubt.
Yeah, I will get helpful feedback and go on living my blessed life.
Look at that, the cannon in the main base,
He's
knowing
really
that he's going to get in.
Bunkering down. This is 2 at the front and 1 in the main. I mean, I feel like there's a joke to make about that, but the best part about this is that, you know, the eventuality will occur and Movie will be prepared for it.
Yeah. Look at that back cannon actually. So that's why that back cannon is there. That is actually more just in case he does a move like this with the Zerglings.
Yeah, it's a
it
free lane with
just reaches them. It's not like they have free reign at the Nexus. So it actually protects the Nexus. That's really smart. Okay, now I understand a new thing.
So now you can play Protoss even better, Artosis.
Yeah, yeah. That was never really a problem, but...
This is really what guys like Sham2 need to take it up from B to A level at Protoss. That cannon placement, that'll get you there, my dudes. So... the Lings in the base, you know, usually we talk about how annoying this is, how it's hard to get rid of them, how dangerous they are, but I don't know if it is actually going to be that dangerous for Movie, who seems to be pretty well prepared.
Yeah, Movie is super prepped in every way. He's got cannons blocking all of his buildings at the moment. There are some more Speedlings being made. Let's see if he does something crazy here with the Speedlings. Just the fact that he made a few more makes me think there's a possibility he's going to run up and try to get a surround on the cannons.
You know, if he did come through either the back door or the front door into that natural and try to, you know, reach back around with the Lings in the main, I mean, that could be a possibility, and every Protoss has lost hundreds of games to that. But that's not what's happening here. He's actually just going to try to get back into the mineral line, but that rear cannon is just so well positioned. Okay, it doesn't hit
can't
there.
Get too close. It doesn't reach all the way to the minerals, but the thing is he has units that'll do that. So there's not a lot of play. So he's actually just evacuating. This is probably one of the only times you're ever going to see Speedlings run out of a Protoss base.
Yeah, you're right. I actually don't see that too often. So the probe actually dies as it tries to scout Sacsri, but the last thing it saw was 2 drones hatching. So maybe that'll tip him off in the wrong direction, because there should be a bunch coming out here. Actually, no, he's just droning up super hard back at home with that 3rd base at the 12 coming up.
Yeah, so he's going up to 4 hatches, and there is a Stargate here. The Ling's kind of still running around. Gonna go and scout. We don't see any second gas as of yet. That's been kind of trendy lately to get that second gas before the Corsair gets there. This one looks like he actually didn't make it. It looked like he was about to, but still just sitting on 1 gas, just now starting it. So I think Movie's not going to be caught off guard anyway. Yeah, he already has the Citadel.
Yeah.
So looking fine, I think. I think he's
well
played
done.
very well.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's getting a chance to play the game, more importantly. He's getting out there with scouting information from the Corsair, and is pretty well appraised of what the situation is. So, yeah, that rear cannon, everything that he kind of bunkered down in early on, does allow him to kind of survive until the next phase of the game. So how does he deal with what's coming up next? And for Sacsri, that's 5-hatch Hydra. Yeah,
that's exactly what it looks like with that Evolution Chamber on the way as well. The Ling Micro's pretty good overall, but
how do the Zealots are just like, they bathe in butter or something. I'll never understand the mechanics of surrounds there. If you ever took a Warcraft 3 pro gamer and tried to get them to come back and play in StarCraft 2, they'd be so frustrated because surrounds are just so difficult to maintain.
So, I mean, looking at the situation that we are in right now, I'm kind of liking Movie, right? He's starting to put on a lot of pressure. His +1 was never damaged, like he didn't overmake Corsairs or defense. It felt like he defended everything with the absolute minimum possible, and that's like what you're looking to do as Protoss. So right now he's pressuring, it's kind of making Sacsri make some extra units and everything. Don't forget, he went 9 full speed to open, made a bunch of Lings, right? So it's not like he has a giant economy at the moment.
Zealots in decent spots, but they haven't really worked on that Sunken. It will eventually go down. Wow, those have less HP than I expect every time. And the Zealots are actually getting in, but they haven't actually killed too many drones just yet. Mostly just the Lings running in. But now finally those evaporate. The Lings or the drones will be ferried out. And there's just a handful of Hydras here to defend.
Yeah, he's actually doing fantastic with this very first attack. And I mean, this is not even that expensive for him. Look at this, the +1, the Zealots, the Dragoon even helping out, getting on top of so many Hydras here, forcing lost mining time as well.
Yeah, it's just gateway units, and look at everything that they're killing. +1 speed lots, man. Whew, those things are definitely titans of the Protoss army.
Yeah.
And there's more ferried across the map at extra Mach speeds, and even coming up the ramp, they will be able to kill quite a few of these Hydras.
This is pretty awesome how he's kept the pressure on, but will back up for the time being, continually making out these Corsairs. And, has the DT coming as well, but now is the time to get that macro really going. Get your Psystorm, add your gateways, get a real army to play with. And the way in which he's taking the lead this game, I'm asking myself, what does Sacsri do? How do you stay in this as Sacsri?
Well, anytime you're able to hold on and keep your base up, you should be thinking about, okay, well, can I get another base? What do I need to defend against the follow-up push? And now, finally, this big ball of Corsairs is coming out, so I think this is what Sacsri knows that he needs to be solid against.
And even seeing that DT Corsair is roaming, he's going to have to be extra careful about this. Overlord's speed is done, so that's definitely going to help out quite a bit.
And he does have tons of Hydras from those 5 hatcheries out there on the map. So, I mean, that's going to be good to defend against the Corsairs, but it will be maybe a little bit of a liability against a ton of High Templars that are sitting back, juicing up back at Movie's natural expansion. So DT comes in. Is there an Overlord? No, Artosis. No, there's not.
No, that's a ton of damage already. Look at this. 4 kills going down immediately here by the DT.
Yeah, the bonus round here for Movie is he gets in, but probably will not be able to get back out with that one, such as the life of a Dark Templar.
All right, a good amount of Hydras out on the map right now, but he does have Psystorm, and we're going to see one in a second here.
Okay, a pretty good Storm. It actually does probably more damage to the Zealots. That high ground Storm, that one got him.
Yeah.
And here comes back the Corsairs to allow DTs to come clear this back up.
Well, always a good thing if your Zealots are taking the hits to move in with your Corsairs, but it seems like maybe his Psystorms weren't quite there. Maybe he needed a few more ground units as well, because Sacsri will push him back for the time being.
And there's also no DTs there, so even killing off all those Overlords isn't actually super valuable.
Yeah, it's just like a useful time to use your Corsairs, because the Hydras have to attack the Zealots generally at this point. But Sacsri's got some good macro rolling. He's moving forward with mass Hydra here. And that faulty push from Movie, he's paying for a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Psystorms are still good, but the Lurker follow-ups are going to be what, you know, maybe is going to be scary when it comes to breaking through the front door. The DT on the other side will break all the way into the main, though, so this could be what finally deals critical damage to Sacsri.
Yeah, that is actually a fantastic DT. We don't see any Overlords up here. Let's see how quickly he notices. Sometimes you're so busy elsewhere you don't notice for a while, and that's exactly what's happening. Oh my god.
That number in the lower right-hand corner of your screen is just the most painful. You know, they say 1 is the loneliest number, but it's getting lonelier by the second, Artosis.
Yeah, this is getting pretty brutal. He's up to 2 1s right now. I think he's killed almost every drone in that main base. The Lurker push coming in, trying to abuse these cannons right now. I mean, there's still a chance for Sacsri here, despite losing all that.
Absolutely. There's only 2 cannons with 2 more on the way, 1 more popping right now, and nothing really to deal with these Lurkers. They're getting tons of damage down on these Zealots, but all Movie has to do is hang on for more High Templar Storms, and it looks like he is about to have another one there at the natural. Oh, no.
Oh, he hasn't had enough yet.
No, not again.
This is insane. 1 DT is just eliminating Sacsri all by
DT
itself.
is turning the mineral line into my social life, Artosis. It is not going to be a... Hey, there it is. A perfect mirror.
It died and you never got a warning. Look at that.
Story of my life. You're stabbing me, man. So here we go. Finally trying to go for the move to break through, right? But will it be successful? Third Lurker burrowing, and so lots of damage onto these Zealots. But, I mean, there's High Templars. There's big Dragoons here. The Storm of the Century landing on all of those Hydras. They all die, and with that, so do Sacsri's hopes of winning the game. GG! Sacsri taps out. We'll be eliminated with Movie, advancing on to our final round.
Okay. That was... Well, I mean, okay, so there was a couple errors in this game. The first big one from Movie, well, the only big one from Movie, really, that move out with the 3 High Templars and like 8 Zealots or something, that actually almost allowed Sacsri back in, but the DT, as we saw, got 20 drone kills.
Ooh,
so, I mean, when that happens, it's...
heartbreaker.
Yeah, but Sacsri just not having the full awareness of when the DT, you don't get a verbal, your base is under attack. There's nothing auditory going on. The only warning is a ping on your mini-map.
It's not even a ping, it's just a blinking little pixel, so.
Yeah, something like that. So, you know, it is hard to see that. But yeah, that's painful.
We're heading to a break. Our final match coming up, Mind versus Movie.
I get faded, I get let loose sometimes. I get wasted, they say I'm gonna lose my mind. Spend all day long. I know I said I keep my distance, but you're becoming an addiction. You gave me a taste, can't stay away. So much shit going on in my brain. Now I can feel you moving. I know that this will get confusing. I don't know the goal, but you're in control. Give me direction for playing my role. I'll ride with you all night. A picture perfect sight. Now maybe I can make you mine, so I'll enjoy our time. When will I say goodnight? Let me know if I'll be sleeping alone. Don't deny it, takes you high. Are you in now? Am I taking you home? Oh, reason for it was I drunk or did you get inside my head? When will I say goodnight? You should know. Don't let me dream alone. I really know that I should relax, but without you I'm in a relapse. Yeah, when you're away, I shiver and shake. You're a bad idea and I need you to stay. I need to feel something. Now you just leave me wondering. You can't deny when sparks start to fly. Are you down to throw out you and I? I'll ride with you all night. A picture perfect sight. Now maybe I can't make you mine, so broken mirrors, and what do I see? A man with no face, he's looking at me. I got a million scars, wear 'em all on my sleeves. Mended eyes, but they're breaking down souls. Hit the gas, but with nowhere to go. I got a million problems, you know they're all me. A million problems, you know they're all me. Now I'll wait for tomorrow, for mistakes that we can make tonight. Sing it out loud till your lungs give out. Now I save the end of sorrow when I don't wanna make things right. Scream it out loud till the wolves come out. Scream it out loud till the wolves come out, yeah. Sing it out loud till your lungs. Sing it out loud till your lungs give out. Now I save the end of sorrow when I don't wanna make things right. Scream it out loud till the wolves come out. Now I'll wait for tomorrow, for mistakes that we can make tonight. Sing it out loud till your lungs give out. Now I save the end of sorrow when I don't wanna make things right. Scream it out loud till the wolves come out. Scream it out loud till the wolves come out.
The time is now.
And we're back for the last match of the night. It's going to be Mind against Movie. Sacsri has been cut. Best was a cut above the rest.
That's true.
And now we are left with two. Only one will be going on to that round of 16.
Only one will survive. There can be only one. Well, I guess there's two getting out. But with Best looking like the god that he is, you know, I'm excited to see him later on. And for the player that wins this matchup, I really want to see more from them, because for Mind, he's looked a little bit struggle-licious today, and for Movie, I mean, I just want to see this guy play a game that goes his way, because it feels like he also has been kind of denied the opportunity. Although he did, you know, win that last game, so I'm expecting for him to at least have some momentum behind it.
Well, you know what, Rapid, if that DT hadn't gotten 20 kills, I don't think he was going to win that game, even after it seemed like he had a good lead in the beginning. So, yeah, maybe you're right in that regard. We're going on to Circuit Breakers. Expect Mind to be a bit aggressive here, guys. Let's go!
Now playing on Circuit Breakers.
It's been a fast day, Artosis.
Yeah, it certainly has.
I definitely did not expect that. Well, I didn't know what to expect in this group. Absolutely anything could have happened. Still impressed by how Sacsri played, but he is gone, and now we have to find out who will advance, Mind or Movie.
Yeah, they're cross spawns this game. Circuit Breakers is our big macro map for this season, and really in any map pool, it's the big macro map. It's got so many bases, 16 different ones, 4 without gas. It's a map on which, like for instance in this matchup, right, you can, as a Terran player, take 4 bases so easily. And you know what, Rapid? On top of that, the 5th isn't that hard. If you have 4 bases up, you can have that 5th if you want it.
I mean, even if you're a Zerg player, you know, the idea of 3 hatch before pool just becomes maybe a little bit more doable. I don't know. Cross positions on Circuit Breaker or Fighting Spirit or any of those like gigantic maps, the games take a little bit longer to wind up. And you know, sometimes you'll have players kind of break the mold and exploit that by going hyper aggressive, but chances are with the way these two players have been playing, we won't see that this time around.
Well, this is... I'm interested in like the spots here and the players that are matching up, right?
Okay.
Because I look at this and I think about the way they play. Mind likes to get some early or mid aggression, right? Whether that's a 2-factory play, whether that's the 2-factory push after command center. He likes 4-fact pushes, 5-fact pushes, even like some starport play. And we'll talk about this in just a moment. But they're cross map, right? So cross map, like, I think macro play is generally the better choice because Protoss has to expand kind of towards you. So you're kind of putting out fires, right? You're gonna, for instance, you might be attacking top left a whole lot this game in a big macro game, but it's not Mind's style. So it'll be cool to see what he wants to pull off because of that.
Yeah, and I mean, for Mind, you mentioned that he might be playing a little bit more aggressively. Step number 1 is scouting your opponent, and maybe it will take Mind a little bit longer to do that.
Well, he checks the middle for the proxy gates because he is going for a gasless expansion here. If you're playing against proxy gates, that's going to become a little bit difficult.
I feel like this is what he wanted to do against Best, but couldn't.
Yes, I think that you are right about that. I'm fairly certain he wanted to do gasless expands today. And it's a really good build, especially on Circuit Breaker. It's really good. The Sim City here is very nice. It's not too hard to defend everything. It's kind of a big map. You really get that quick command center up. And then you have a few options too, right? Like he can go into 2-factory off of this, or he can go for a factory and starport play.
Which one will it be? You know, we have already gotten a chance to see a 1-1-1 executed. I really do enjoy like well-executed 2-fact pushes to just catch your opponent off guard. But I don't know if Movies or Mind really is going to do that. Scouting Zealot's going to find absolutely nothing for a long time. So both players are a little bit in the dark.
Like with this build, you can do a 2-factory push after your command center. It is possible. But like Movie's going to have tech out already, so it's not necessarily what you want to do. A lot of times what it'll be is you get some siege mode, you go into vulture speed, you have some turrets up already. You're pretty safe because you have to defend, right? Bunker at the front, the turret's blind most of the time because you just don't know what they're doing. But a lot of times you just kind of see some vultures out on the map, right? You'll be sending around, kind of getting some intel while macroing up, and the game very likely to go big. Like this is a game where I'd be surprised if we don't see both these players max out.
Right, we're most likely going to hit some double-digit times in this game. But to just highlight everything that this SCV is seeing, for Mind, he counts the pylons, he's noticing worker counts, and everything just completely makes sense. Wait, what? Is that Pacifist Dragoon? I don't know. But the SCV finally does go down, and so this is where Movie might decide to divert things, but it seems like both players are just opening completely standardly.
Yeah, everything looks pretty normal at the moment, and just the fact that he had his SCV live that long, like he saw no tech for a bit, he saw the Nexus. It was a pretty quick Nexus overall, so he's got some good intel. Now, Mind should be adding a second factory if he wants to get that second factory pretty quickly. We don't see it yet. You don't have to go for the double factory off of this, but it's a lot of people prefer it because it actually gives you a nice boost to units.
Okay, well, this is going to be a little bit of a slower start, Artosis. I guess every other game has just been a lot faster paced.
Yeah.
So now finally it feels a little bit weird to see everything kind of slowing down. Oh, there's the second gas coming through.
Yeah, so what Mind has chosen to do here, and I think this is based off of scouting that Nexus and no super fast tech rush, he's gone into an armory and an academy. So this is a pure macro play from Mind. He'll probably go up to 4 bases. He'll certainly go up to at least 3.
And here come those Dragoons. This is sort of the prerequisite. This is what you see most of the time out of PvT. The Dragoons will get their range, be able to outrange the bunker, and that will be repaired, and then eventually Siege mode will come out, and the Dragoons will have to back out. And so this is just kind of the game that we play. And when I was first learning Brood War, it always kind of astounded me at how much you can kind of know how to play the game, but there were just so many mini games that you had to get right. You had to check all these little boxes. So like you have to know, okay, you're gonna have to have enough SCVs to repair there. You're gonna have to know, the timing of when this is coming, and if any little part of that, goes by, if maybe you don't know that it's possible for the Dragoons to dive by, then all of a sudden everything just goes awry and you're not allowed to play the game anymore.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. In fact, you see him push up again. He was checking to see if that siege tank was still sitting where it was, because 4 goons will 2-shot a tank. So Mind is pulled back. He's got his siege. We just heard a couple scans. So he is really aware of what's going on. It was probably a scan at the main and the natural, but not 100% sure on that. But this gives him I
think he scanned the 3rd.
Okay, yeah, it's a good place to scan as well. But yeah, I mean, right now, looking at this, if Mind doesn't drop a 3rd command center really soon, I'll be pretty surprised.
Well, I mean, as a Protoss player, obviously you do want to have the faster expansion timing and start getting out there on the map. So it always surprises me, especially if you compare this to StarCraft 2 timings or something like that, how long a Terran player can stay on 2 bases.
Yeah.
So I always want to watch out for that. But here's Mind doing the same thing that he did previously and trying to go for some Goliaths and maybe take out the early detection.
Yeah,
see if you can find that yet.
Specifically what we're seeing here, not necessarily the opener, how he reached it, like the gasless expand, but just the unit composition of 1 factory with an add-on, making siege tanks, and then 1 factory without, making Goliaths. This is a completely brand new TVP style that has
where are the vultures?
Yeah, no, you don't get them for quite a while with this. So you get the Goliaths early on here. His macro will explode a little bit later on, but it's a little bit slow at first. You're just very steadily building up your siege tank count, and you utilize, basically speed shuttles are very important right now. Observers are very important.
Yeah.
And having the Goliaths out are a big deterrent to both those. They can also kind of fight ground units a little bit. So it's a new style, and I mean, if you watch a lot of pro gamer streams, especially Flash, he's been doing this a lot right now, and this is. I'm wondering if Mind will get a 4th command center with this, because this is a very good way to play, to just kind of hit a nice solid 2-1 timing, even if you only have 2 gases.
Now, what I'm waiting for is to see whether A, he's just going to try to clear out all these observers and then push the mysterious timing, or B, if he's just going to go for it. And he has brought everything out front, but I think that's just to kind of zone and set up those tanks for this expansion coming through.
Yeah, he can't quite attack yet. If you're going for this, if Protoss sees what you're doing, that you're going for this Goliath tank type of play, they can play a little bit more greedy, because vultures are really what you're going to be afraid of. If there's a whole bunch of vultures with tanks, it's like, oh, okay, mines plus the speed of the vultures running by, that's scary. Whereas Goliaths don't actually beat anything on ground for Protoss, so you're not, it's a very defensive unit this early.
Let's see here. Finally, are those vultures coming through? And they find a totally undefended expansion.
So wrecked. Oh my God, this is so much damage. Mine hit the jackpot here.
Oh man, this is not safe for Protoss for sure. That is, that's so surprising because all these Dragoons were just right there, except for the exact path that those vultures took through. Wow. I mean, that's the bonus round for mine.
Yeah.
It's the bingo jackpot or whatever game show analogy you want to make there. And so that's, you know, the bonus that's going to make it even just that little tiny bit more potent when he decides to push out.
Well, that was a fantastic push. That did a lot. He's got a dropship now, so definitely going to continue to try to get some harassment, but luckily Movie does see that. He also hit a scan right on the Arbiter tech and the fact that the Arbiter's making, so that is an important moment. It looks like he's decided now is the time to push. And I tell you, this is a pretty scary push coming out. He's barely behind Movie in supply right now.
All right, heading out across the map. Movie will meet him with a few Dragoons, so that'll be the scouting force that tells him at least, okay, well, something is on the way. And so he should be prepared for that. So he's got his Dragoons spread out away so he can have like a concave or a flank here when this push finally comes out. And he's trying to get Mine to siege up, but Mine's just rolling through.
Yeah, this is really great play, just running behind them with these mines. Oh my God, Mine is just clearing this out so quickly.
Movie, you could tell he was setting up for this flank. Now he's going to try to pull the trigger, come from behind, and take this out, but I think it might have just done too much damage already.
Yeah, well, this is definitely really scary. Now, the reinforcements are being caught, so this army is a little bit alone right now, which could be a mistake here for Mine. We see that Mine is pushed up all the way into this third base, into this mineral only, but eventually Movie will clear this army.
Goliaths versus Shuttle. Actually, not all of them targeting the Shuttle, so it will get a chance to deploy its payload. But Zealot taking out a tank, and so this is actually going to be a good cleanup by Movie.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised here. Like, first off, I think the thing a lot of people might look at and point out is the fact that he moved out before his 2-1 timing. And while I understand that sentiment, he got the 3 Vultures in, and he kind of saw that it was just a Dragoon army still, right? He got the scan right afterwards, saw that Arbiters were on the way. That kind of gives you a good feel. It's like, normally when you go quick Arbiter, you're on only Goons for quite a bit, and then you get into your Zealots. So I think that the push timing wasn't 100% bad or anything, but I think how he executed there, how quickly he went for the third, is where the mistake lies. The reinforcements getting cut off basically is never good.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that Shuttle getting to drop Zealots right on top of the tanks when there's 3 or 4 Goliaths right there. I don't know about that either, but the Mines of the tanks doing a great job against the Dragoons that tried to move up and take them out, but I think that specifically is going to really shut this down.
Yeah, losing this dropship and these siege tanks. He did a little bit with it. You know, he battled some Goons and stuff and got a few kills there, but you got to be a little bit careful. You're still sitting here on just 2 gases is Mine. Yeah. And now there's Arbiter Tech, there's 4 base movies, taking a 5th. Yeah, you've done some damage to his economy this game, but not enough to end it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. You got to get out and try to do damage any way you can. I think the way that the new Peter Parker Spider-Man said it is eat or be eated. So he is getting out there and trying to be aggressive, but it's really not paying off. Movie is doing such a good job stopping it at every turn, and now he's bringing this Arbiter tech to bear, and I want to see if Mine can deal with it.
Yeah, that is most certainly a recall positioning for that Arbiter. It looks like he is getting ready. There's not a lot there. He's not quite ready. He needs that 150. Wait a few more seconds. Looks like EMP is on the way. Some turrets being set up, but he's going to fly right in. Now, does he go all the way to the main?
I think he is. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to take out right there, but look at this. Oh, where's the EMP? Is it right there?
Oh my God, cash money right there.
Feels good from a Terran perspective, I gotta say.
Like, so good, Rapid. So, if you EMP the first Arbiter and they went not stasis, but they went just the first Arbiter in general is amazing.
And this also feels good.
Oh, geez Louise. This is fantastic for Mine.
In the future, when they embed tiny screens in the back of our eyeballs, Artosis will fall asleep every night to watching that play.
Yeah, well, no, it excites me, actually. I want to get on the ladder and do it myself. But look, here comes an attack. I don't think that this is wise by Movie.
I certainly do not. One Zealot or two drop out, the shuttle goes down, and everything survives. Look at how many vultures there are right now, just totally tanking all those Zealots running through. The blue goo grows on the ground, and the siege tanks just dealing so much damage.
Yeah. I just don't understand that attack. Down a ramp with a depot there, with that many vultures guarding 3 siege tanks, and you know that, like, it's not like Mine's army is somewhere else. He just sends it down to reinforce.
I don't know about round 2 either.
No.
Okay, yeah, now it's just not the time, my man. So, Movie maybe should back up, but he's going to go for it again. He's got Zealots coming through. Half of them are behind Dragoons, though. Yeah. So there's a two-tank stasis. There's only 2 or 3 more that are sieged behind that, so the Zealots do get on top of it. Maybe this breaks through, but there's so many vultures, Artosis.
Vulture is a good unit.
That is true. Many people have said that same thing, Artosis.
They build quickly, and like they move quickly, too, so they can come right down and help.
Yeah, it's 25 minerals per mine, and you get the Vulture for free.
So that's a good way to put it. Looks like a counter drop coming out from Mine. So if this does some good damage, Mine is getting into an even better spot. A lot of Zealots getting here. Oh, actually getting a little bit of a surround there. They're going to clear some of these siege tanks. And I mean, anytime you're killing siege tanks, you're pretty happy as Protoss.
Once global warming kicks in, those tanks will unthaw Artosis. Yeah. But that's really just enabling these Zealots to get in on top of everything and just be so effective. Okay, right as I say that, they all die. But the idea is that actually did work out eventually for Movie.
Yeah, I like everything that's happened except the overextension into the third base of Movie.
Right.
That one early push we saw where he let his rally get eaten up. Everything other than that, I think, oh wow, that's big. Everything other than that, I've really liked for Mine, though.
What is up? That is the carrier tech coming out, and you know, this has been kind of a liability for Movie. This is what I was talking about earlier. His carrier play, he likes to go for it, but it doesn't always work out. So here's a chance to redeem himself. 4 carriers at a time in production.
That scan was pretty awesome right there. He sees exactly what's going on. Yeah, and here's the problem, right? If Mine doesn't have 3-2 making right now, I'd be very surprised. So you're like going carriers into a 4-base Terran that now has 3 gases, already has 2 on 100%, and I mean, it's such a rare situation where you don't start 3-2 right after. It's like more important than adding siege tanks. So if we have 3-2 Goliaths on this macro machine of Mine, like what are you, especially considering he spent so many of his units trying to break 12.
Well, yeah, he was not able to do that, obviously, so he's going to have to reap the consequences of what is a very, very scary push. Let's check the upgrades. Yeah, he's on 1-2, but the upgrades have not kicked in, or the next tier.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's enough interceptors here to really make these carriers very scary.
No, not that many quite yet. There's definitely enough Goliaths to fight this. He picks off the, hey, that's a good pick off.
Yeah.
But Mine is only getting 1 upgrade. It's probably attack, but we don't know for sure.
Ooh. Yeah, these carriers are not scariers. They are. They have what, 4 interceptors apiece, and ooh, that's quite a few siege tanks, Artosis.
Well, right now, Movie is gonna get just sandwiched. I think he still has an Arbiter, right? Maybe he can actually recall that set of units out of there.
Is that carrier stuck?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like a weird rally where it just spins.
Okay, I'm like, there's no air blockers here, so
yeah,
that's just spinning around. Yeah, Observer pointing out very low interceptor numbers, because I guess maybe does he not have the upgrade? Did he not?
Oh, possibly. Yeah, that's.
I think he might have forgotten extra interceptors.
Yeah, that could be, or maybe everything was kind of. By the way, Mine, I'm pretty sure just targeted a carrier down with turrets.
No, I'm pretty sure those carriers are stuck down there.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, finally. I'm like, how? Why are they spinning just all by themselves? Yeah. They should have been at least moving out.
It's just a funny rally. It's like trying to get to the rally, but
I wanted them to be stuck, Artosis.
I wanted them to be stuck too.
More travesties in my games.
I think if those are stuck, you have to make a regame, and then we can watch these guys fight again.
Oh, I wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, so Mind is. He's doing pretty well. I mean, he's killed 2 of the bases that have gases and the mineral. So there's almost nothing left here for Movie. I think Movie's made very many questionable choices this game.
I want our observer to click on a single carrier to see if he has extra interceptors now.
He has to.
Okay, you say that.
He has to. 3. Well,
okay, 3 is less than 4.
There's 4.
4 is not more than 4, Artosis.
No, 4 is not more than 4, but he's not clicking on the other one, so I guess we'll just never know.
Wow.
Well, if they don't attack for a little bit, we'll be able to tell when they do attack, right? Because he would have built up to 8, and then if we don't see a ton of interceptors, then you know.
All right, we've successfully mathed everything out. There it is. All right, okay. Success has been had here. And for Movie, now he does have a very potent force of carriers. And, you know, carriers are kind of the miracle unit. They really can make anything happen. So you never want to count a Protoss player out when they have a huge army of carriers.
You know, I wish he still had an Arbiter floating around somewhere. I don't believe it's the case, but recall with carriers can be pretty hilarious as well, right? Because a lot of times what Terran will do in a situation like this is send his Goliaths after the carriers and then his units elsewhere. So if you can recall the carriers to the siege tanks, that's how you can turn a game on its head. But,
absolutely. Mine looks like he actually might just sack the 12 and go try to pierce deep into the heart of the Protoss player, but I mean, that's it. That is a lot of carriers. They're doing a lot of damage, but look at how many turrets Mind has up. Oh my god.
Yeah, all he needs to do is slow this because Mind has such a lead. He has that bottom right base mining. He's got the 3 o'clock is on the way. He's getting into some high Templars, so if he gets Psystorm, that's definitely something that really works well in tandem with carriers. Wow, he's making Archons.
Oh.
Okay, so that tells us that he doesn't have Psystorm, I guess.
If he just doesn't have Psystorm at all, then yeah, those... Okay, well, everything I thought he had to defend there, he doesn't have. So that's going to be a lot of damage by Mind. On the other side, though, Movie is dealing critical damage, taking out the 12, and now moving into the main. Or third.
Yeah, the carriers are doing some work for sure, but 3-1 Goliaths will clear this. There is no way that Mind is not going to hold.
Yeah, the upgrades for Goliaths just deal so much more damage to carriers. And now that's going to do it. GG in the end. The Scholar Terran Rommel. Mind does prevail and advance on in the next round. Feels kind of bad for Movie. Definitely had a chance at a few points during that game.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some good moves. I think that he defended that third base attack really well, but the amount of units he spent and Arbiters he spent trying to take down 12 through a choke point against rally points and siege tanks and vultures just sitting there with turrets there when he had an Arbiter, I'm like, I feel like that was a gigantic blunder by him. If you don't have a giant gateway army, when you're doing this carrier switch, it's just going to be that much harder because Mind can bully you.
And bully him, he did. The first push might have looked a little bit questionable, but the ones afterwards just really, really kicked into high gear. So very, very impressive performance there by Mind. So let's head into an interview. Hear what he has to say about advancing on to the round of 16. So you're the second player to advance on out of Group C. Congratulations, Mind.
100% 진출입니다. 소감이 어떠세요?
So every time you get into the round of 24, you make it to the round of 16. How do you feel? He says, yeah, I'm happy to make it to the round of 16. All I was thinking is just make it to the round of 16. I gotta make it. I've got a really good feeling about my TVP, so I was just focused on winning that matchup. So you still have a lot of pressure to face Protoss. In your matchup against Best, Best had a very quick Reaver tech. Did you not anticipate that strategy? He says, yeah, I didn't experience that build in my practice, so I didn't anticipate it. I should have thought I should have thought that he could have used that build and been more prepared. So the match against Movie. There was a moment when you sent your dropships across that you really didn't get very much damage from that. He said, yeah, when I went for that rush, it didn't work the way I wanted it to. So I thought I was in a really big disadvantage in that position. So I thought, hey, if I go for a drop, maybe that'll get me back in the game. So I thought it was going to shake his mentality there, but my attack didn't work at all. So that really affected me pretty negatively.
자기가 유리해서 아마 계속 들어왔던 것 같아요. 근데 제가 그거를 좀 뻘쳐가 서 있는 상태에서
So
와서
Movie kept pressing on my 12 o'clock base because I think he thought he was ahead of me.
진영아 선수가 오히려 좀 들어와
I
줬기
think if he
때문에
didn't
그걸
keep
잘
attacking
경영을
that
잘
12 o'clock
손실시키면서 또
base
승리를 가져가신 것 같습니다.
네.
지난 시즌에는
with the
테란이
wrong,
정말 얼마 없었습니다.
Unicopper making that
제가 기억하기로는
wrong
투수가
decision,
일곱,
I
저희가
think
일곱,
that's
테란이
why
두,
I won
박성균
in the
선수와
end.
이영호 선수뿐이었는데
네.
I
이번
agree.
시즌에는
And if he
좀
didn't keep
종교
pushing
밸런스가
there, maybe I
어떠면
wouldn't have
좋으실 것
won. That's what
같으세요?
mine says.
개인적으로
So last time there were only
정도가 많이
2
올라오면
Terrans
좋은데
in the round of 16.
저번에 보니까 또
This
윤중이
season,
형 가진 거 그냥 말도 안 되게 또 올라가더라고요.
Do you want to have more Terrans advance, or do you want to have more Protosses
저거가
advance?
올라왔으면 좋겠다는 생각.
Which races do you want to have in the round of 16?
하게 되면 연습
He says, I want more Zergs in the round of 16.
잘해야죠. 자신은 있어요.
If I'm going to face
이재용
Protoss
선수를
players,
극복하고 싶은 마음도 좀 있으실 것 같은데요.
I think I'm going to feel a lot more pressure
재욱이
in that versus
형이 또 이제
Protoss
잘하기도 하고
matchup.
제가 너무 최근에 많이 져서 재욱이 형을 사실 오늘 만나서 이기고 싶었어요. 개인적으로는 만나길 바랬고.
So do you want to face
개인적으로.
Best
네,
moving
네.
forward?
그래서 네, 제가 좀
He says,
못해서
yeah,
졌기
personally,
때문에
I actually wanted to beat him in
게임을
the
좀더
winners
해야 될
match
것
today.
같아요. 네, 다음에 제가 이기겠습니다. 네.
I think I should have practiced more
각오를 팬들에게 들려주시죠.
against Protoss when I face Best later. Definitely does need to practice that a little bit more. Any words for your fans? He says, you know, my goal for the season was just to make it to the round of 16. So that was the lowest goal that I set for myself. So far, I've achieved my goal. So for this season, I'm just going to do my best to make it further than the round of 8.
멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다.
So I'm just going to keep practicing more StarCraft, and that is the interview with Mind
ASL 시즌 6
completed. I'm glad he did highlight that Movie's overcommittal towards attacking that 12 o'clock base was a major reason that Mind came out on top.
Yeah, it really does seem that way. It was such a bizarre move out of Movie there. But anyways, enough about that. Let's take a look at who got through its Best and Mind as expected. So far, the favorites of every single group are the ones that have gone through.
That is true, but every one of them have just been really, really sick dominant matches. Jaedong advancing specifically just absolutely crushed it. Best today in similar fashion just speed ran his way out of this group. And so every player that is advancing is an absolute badass. So I can't wait to watch round of 16.
Yeah.
We've got 3 more groups to get there.
And these are just sick groups, or sick players so far. If you just look at this lineup, you're like, yes, 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 bring it to me.
Absolutely incredible. And here are the sick players in these groups. Effort Action, Mong, Stork, Last Calm, Sulky, Rush, Sharp, I Am Mong Light, and the new player, Yerim. We already got a chance to see Eros Bial, and he looked solid, but he didn't make it out of his group. So I want to see what Yerim can do. And just to point out, there are 3 broadcasts next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
And the Thursday one is going to be a little bit early because we're going to have that group, the round of 16 group selection right afterwards.
Those are always a lot of fun.
Yeah. These guys have a lot of personality. They're all professional streamers at this point. That's like what being a pro gamer is at the moment. But yeah, these groups are fantastic, especially Group D and E. I'm really totally digging those 2 groups. I'm very excited for Monday and Tuesday.
I was glad I got a chance to be here for Group C. It was a very good group. Always a pleasure to don my Brood War bat suit with you and skyhook into an awesome group of ASL.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming down, Rapid. I think we'll probably have Tasteless back for Monday. As far as it's more StarCraft, right? Because that's what you guys want. GSL Code S, round of 4, match 2, Maru versus a rematch of the finals of last season. It's taking place at 1 p.m. KST on Saturday. Today's Thursday, so not tomorrow, but the day after that. And then right after that, like literally 3.5 hours after that, the KSL Finals, StarCraft 1 will begin. It's going to be Jaedong going up against Last.
So good.
So much more Brood War, so much more StarCraft 2.
I love it. It's a good time to be alive and a fan of Brood War. Those are probably the 2 greatest characteristics you can have as a human being.
Pretty much.
Close. That and having an unlimited supply of avocado toast.
Well, everyone loves that, don't
That's
they?
true.
But yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and definitely spread the word that ASL is back. It's a fantastic tournament. And, you know, as you point out, huge dichotomy between like this and KSL, both totally having their own feels and flavors. And Yeah, it's
best of
having a
fives
good time.
versus best of ones, and then you have like a very long form kind of tournament. And for this tournament, it really feels like we're kind of speed running through these early groups.
Yeah,
Some-
we're getting through the round of 24
Yeah.
super fast. Like this week, right? We're halfway done the round of 24. Next week, we're going to finish that up, get that round of 16 drawn, and get right into it.
Well, the cool thing about ASL this season is that we get a chance to see a whole bunch of new faces. So we got Sacsri coming through, Calm is back, and the two amateur players, Yerim and Eros Bial. I love seeing new faces in what is one of the oldest esports out there. So continuing to see players really rise up through the ranks and kill it and make it to offline tournaments like this.
And not just that. I mean, Flash is playing in the tournament. We have some, obviously Jaedong, Stork, all those guys, Rain. It's good stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will be back on Saturday with GSL Code S.
Screen comes on, but you can't turn away as I slip into a roll. And the moment takes control. Now I'm starting